Chapter 974. Of course, Blood Lotus would not say such words. It was for no other reason than the fact that there were 9 azure dragons glaring at him in the sky. He was sure that if he had a shred of resentment, he would be torn into pieces in the next moment. Seeing the scene of Linley and the others eating heartily, out of sight, out of mind, Blood Lotus hurriedly dove down to continue working towards the goal of 100. It wasn't that he was willing to do so, but that he had no choice. Lin Ray didn't know about Shuel Yin's actions. Even if he did, he wouldn't say anything. However, Lin Ray was very interested in the appearance of a blood-colored Qilin here. This was especially so for the first time he had heard of a blood-colored Qilin. If the demonic phoenix was here, perhaps she would know some secrets, but right now, Linley didn't know where she was. After entering the 9th region, she had disappeared. Even Linley didn't know where she had gone. The atmosphere in the Dragon Consciousness Hall was extremely solemn. It was the complete opposite of Lin Ray. It was as if something big was about to happen. Long Wuming, the Supreme Elder, and the elders of the Dragon Clan were all present. They all looked at the Dragon Emperor, Long Wuming, with a solemn and pleading gaze. The atmosphere was so oppressive that it was hard to breathe. Compared to the atmosphere, a young man below couldn't stand it. He stood up and walked to the center. He cupped his hands and bowed respectfully to Long Wuming. Dragon Emperor, how do you think we should deal with this matter? That person has already given us an ultimatum. He said that he will personally visit the Dragon Clan in 3 days. He also said if the Dragon Clan members don't move out in 3 days, the consequences will be severe. With a start, everyone was emboldened. One by one, they stood up and began to express their opinions. Lord Dragon Emperor, we don't care how you want to deal with this matter. However, how should we deal with the Dragon Clan members? That's right, Lord Dragon Emperor. It's not just the Dragon Clan members. The Saintess is the hope of the Dragon Clan. If the Saintess is harmed because of this matter, we will lose more than we gain. The Grand Elder standing beside Long Wuming also stepped forward and spoke up after hearing the crowd's words. Wuming, they're right. Although you think that Lin Ray can deal with the spatial source, you have to understand that the spatial source is a supreme existence of the laws. As the saying goes, where there's life, there's hope. If you blindly trust Lin Ray and something goes wrong, the future of our Dragon Clan will be buried here. Do you think it's worth it? At that moment, Wuming Long's brows were already furrowed together. Displeasure was written all over his face. However, he also understood what everyone was thinking. He was in a dilemma regarding this matter. Nameless, how about this? Let's take 10,000 steps back. Even if you believe Linley, have you ever thought about what if? What if he couldn't defeat the space origin? What would happen to Ling Long? Can you bear to see something happen to little Ling Long? The Supreme Elder understood Long Wuming. He could only use Ling Long to beat around the bush. That was because he understood Long Wuming and their Dragon Monarch. In his eyes, Ling Long's life was more important than anything else. He was confident that the Dragon Monarch would listen to him. However, as expected, right after the Supreme Elder finished speaking, Wuming Long suddenly raised his head and said, "Supreme Elder, this matter." After saying that, he swept his gaze across the crowd. Seeing their expectant gazes, he continued, "I'll leave this matter to you. Let everyone out of the Dragon Realm. As for the elders, if you wish to leave, you can also leave with the main group." Plop! Hearing the Dragon Monarch's decision, everyone immediately knelt down and expressed their gratitude. "Thank you, Dragon Monarch. Thank you for understanding us. What about you?" Suddenly, the Supreme Elder's cold voice sounded. "Me? I want to stay here. I want to see if that Lin Ray has the ability to subdue the spatial source." "What? You?" Hearing those words, the Supreme Elder was shocked. A country cannot go a day without a ruler. The dragon race could not go without the Dragon Monarch. The Supreme Elder firmly disagreed with the Dragon Monarch's decision. The Supreme Elder wasn't the only one who was shocked. Even the other elders were shocked. In the Dragon Tribe, the Dragon Monarch's existence was akin to a person's backbone. It was the most important part of their body. Therefore, when they heard Long Wuming say that he wanted to do it here, their hearts skipped a beat, and they instinctively tried to stop him. "Lord Dragon Monarch, please reconsider. You must know that you are the dragon race's emperor. If you stay here, what's the use of us leaving? That's right, Lord Dragon Monarch. If we leave, we must leave together. We cannot leave you here alone. Yes, Lord Dragon Monarch. Can you leave with us? This whooming dragon fell into deep thought upon hearing everyone's words. What they said wasn't without reason. However, none of them knew that the reason he was here wasn't just to personally witness Linley defeat the Space Quintessence. It was more so because he wanted to protect the Dragon Realm and their home. This was their root. He did not want to see others destroy it. Therefore, he could not, after making up his mind, he looked down with a determined gaze. That determined gaze of his let everyone know what he was thinking. Lord Dragon Monarch, please reconsider your actions. Sigh. Looking at the pleading looks of the crowd, Wuming Long let out a long sigh. His face was filled with determination. All right, you should leave quickly. I, this emperor, have already decided on this matter. After saying that, Wuming Long stood up and walked out of the hall without waiting for the crowd to say anything. The moment the Dragon Monarch left the conference hall, the crowd went into an uproar. Discussions sounded continuously. What should we do? The Dragon Monarch is not leaving. That's right. Why is the Dragon Monarch doing this? Could it be that he doesn't know how powerful that person is? Sigh, don't say any more. Didn't you see the Dragon Monarch's determined expression? I'm sure everyone knows the Dragon Monarch's temper very well. No one can change the Dragon Monarch's decision. It seems like the Dragon Monarch is determined to awaken this time. All kinds of different voices sounded. Wuming Long didn't know about this scene. At this moment, he naturally returned home to accompany his child. In the sacred grounds, Lin Ray and the other three ate their meal peacefully at the dining table without any worries or disturbances. It could be said that this meal was the most peaceful meal that Lin Ray had in this period of time. The plates on the table were naturally all cleared, and even the table was piled up. For this, Lin Ray's heart really ached. Thinking of the way Sakura drank just now, Lin Ray really wanted to give himself a few big slaps. Maotai was already very rare, and it was really troublesome to return to Aqua Blue Planet. So, how could Lin Ray not feel heartache when he saw the Maotai being consumed? Of course, on the surface, Lin Ray was still smiling without the slightest dissatisfaction. After all, Sakura was equivalent to another him. Originally, the sun was high in the sky. While Lin Ray was eating and drinking, night fell. There was always a cool breeze blowing in the night sky. It gave people a kind of refreshing feeling with a hint of coldness. Looking at Sakura, Lin Ray smiled. Let's eat here today. Oh, why? Sakura was stunned. He obviously didn't understand what Lin Ray's intention was. It's nothing. It's just that you guys met a bastard before coming here. He actually stole the braised arowana that I made. After saying that, his eyes hinted everyone to look at Shuel Yin, who was trying hard to catch the arowana in the distant stream. And he is F***CK. What is this brother trying to do? Why doesn't he have any cultivation at all? No cultivation? Towards Sakura's question, Lin Ray sneered. That person's cultivation is much stronger than yours. However, since he stole my fish, he naturally has to pay a little price. Although he was still unhappy in his heart, seeing that there were at least dozens of arowana on the shore, the anger in his heart obviously lessened. F***CK. It can't be. It's him. Although he had 100% trust in Lin Ray's words, looking at the young man's current appearance, Sakura was somewhat stunned. That's right. Looking at Shuel Yin, Lin Ray told the truth to everyone. You guys, don't underestimate him. Do you know what his original form is? Blood Qilin. We know that the Qilin clan has been exterminated in the Desolate Era. Now that a Blood Qilin has appeared here, there must be a secret behind it. Moreover, the Dragon Clan, Phoenix Clan, and Qilin Clan have all appeared in this world. I don't know if this is good or bad. At this moment, everyone was silent. They were in shock and contemplation. Lin Ray felt that the surrounding space had become oppressive. He quickly waved his hand and said with a smile, all right, don't think about it anymore. Let's go and see him first. We already know that it's afternoon. After saying that, Lin Rei took a step forward and rushed to the stream. Sakura and the others naturally followed behind Lin Rei. When they came to the stream, their eyes fell on Shuel Yin, who was trying hard to chase a dragon. The corner of their mouth slightly curled, and a smile appeared on their faces. How is it? Does this feel good? Splash. Suddenly, Blood Lotus, who had been working hard to move forward, broke out of the water. Raising his head to look at the chortling Linley, he felt a sense of helplessness in his heart. He truly had to submit to Linley. But at the same time, he cursed Lin Rei in his heart for being a fool who had nothing better to do. He sealed his cultivation to catch the arowana. If it wasn't for him, those 100 arowana would be a piece of cake for him with his cultivation. He wouldn't need to waste time here, especially since he had spent so much time. He still hadn't caught enough arowana. Right now, the Qilin already hated swimming. In this afternoon, the Blood Lotus had probably finished all the swimming he had to do. Looking at Lin Rei, who was smiling on the shore, Shuel Yin coldly snorted. Then, are you here to laugh at me, or what? Looking at Shuel Yin, Lin Rei replied, Nothing, I just want to see if you have completed your task. By the way, if you haven't completed it today, you can continue tomorrow. You can finish it whenever you want. F***CK, are you serious? Didn't I just eat one of your arowana? Do I need to be so ruthless? Look at this, look at this. Pointing at the arowana on the ground, Shuel Yin angrily said, These are all arowana. You're still not satisfied with these, and still want this daddy to continue tomorrow? Are you crazy? What? Daddy? Whose daddy are you? Linley's face was stunned. Staring at the blood-red lotus, he suddenly had the urge to beat someone up. Ow! Perhaps they felt Lin Rei's intention. The 9 azure dragons in the sky roared at Shuel Yin. A terrifying dragon might rush out of their body and crush Shuel Yin. F***CK, this isn't fair, Feeling the enormous dragon might in the sky, Shuel Yin didn't care about the minimum conditions. He exerted his cultivation and rushed out of the range of the dragon might. Oh, hey, that's pretty fast. Looking at the escaping Shuel Yin, Lin Rei was stunned. A sinister smile appeared on his face, and he said, I will ask you one more time. Are you going to catch it or not? My patience is limited. Furthermore, I have never eaten Qilin meat before. Furthermore, it is a blood-colored Qilin. This kind of meat should be even more delicious. While speaking, he looked at Sakura. And that's right. Although I have never eaten dragon meat, I have eaten dragonfish meat. If I eat Qilin meat today, then TSK. As he spoke, he seemed to have eaten the innermost part. Sakura kept smacking his lips as though he was willing to eat it. F***CK, you guys, looking at Lin Rei and the others, this really subverted Qilin's 3 views. Generally, it was demonic beasts that ate humans. How come humans even ate divine beasts now? This doesn't make sense. However, he didn't have time to think about it. There were 9 azure dragons guarding the sky, and Lin Rei and the group of humans on the ground. He knew that he couldn't escape. Not only was he afraid of the 9 azure dragons, but he was also afraid of Lin Rei, who was controlling them. Regarding Lin Rei, Qilin didn't know what to say. To be able to control 9 azure dragons, he must be an ordinary person. How could his combat power be weak? The answer was, of course, no. 3. Just when Shuel Yin was hesitating, Lin Rei started to count. Regarding this, Shuel Yin only wanted to say, F***CK, of course. He could only think about it in his heart. 2. As soon as the 2 words came out, Shuel Yin became anxious. F***CK, can you wake up? We still need to eat a hot meal. Do you really want me to go back? Really, I have never seen someone like you. After saying that, Shuel Yin sealed his cultivation again and turned back into an ordinary person. He returned to the water. Looking at Shuel Yin's actions, Lin Rei laughed. That's right. Isn't this better? Why did you have to make a fuss? Look at you. Even if you make a fuss, you won't be able to do anything. What's the use of that? PFFF. At the side, Ing looked at her husband's shameless appearance and burst out laughing. This was the first time she saw Lin Rei acting like this after entering the divine world. If only my husband would act like this more often in the future. What she thought in her heart might not be able to come true. She knew that she could only treat it as an extravagant hope. All right, you can slowly catch them here. When you're done, come up. Of course, don't come up until you finish catching them. After saying that, he looked at the azure dragons and ordered, "Remember this Lord's words. Shuel Yin is not allowed to come up until he finishes catching them. Look after him." Roar! The 9 azure dragons roared at the sky in unison. It was as if they were responding to Lin Rei's understood. I'll leave it to you." After saying that, Lin Rei didn't stay any longer. He didn't care about Shuel Yin anymore. He turned around and pulled Ying and Shuel Yin towards the dining table. Chapter 975. In this way, 2 days passed peacefully in Lin Rei's eating, drinking, and playing. Lin Rei was very satisfied with this kind of life, but at the same time, he also understood that this kind of life couldn't last long because it didn't suit him. In these 2 days, Sakura had been following Lin Rei and didn't go back. Every day, he ate Lin Rei's dishes and licked his face to drink wine. Of course, it wasn't that Lin Rei forced him to stay, but because the Moutai wine was too mellow, so Sakura didn't want to leave. Coupled with Lin Rei's dishes, the two added together with such a beautiful and peaceful scenery in front of him, no one would want to leave. Ying and Ying were also very happy in these 2 days, because they finally lived the life they were looking forward to. Although the time was very short, but they were very satisfied. Let's talk too much about the good things. Let's talk about the bad things. Shuel Yin, Shui Qilin. In these 2 days, he was the most sullen one. Originally, he was a mythological beast, an existence like an ancient giant beast. He should have been the focus of attention, but unfortunately, under Lin Rei's destruction, he was reduced to fishing. In these 2 days, Shuel Yin didn't stop at all. He kept going back and forth to catch the arowana, but unfortunately, he didn't meet Lin Rei's requirements. After all, he had sealed his cultivation now. In these 2 days, he thought of giving up and resisting, but when he saw the 9 azure dragons staring at him covetously in the sky, Shuel Yin was terrified. In the end, he could only continue to catch the arowana endlessly. Lin Rei didn't pay attention to Shuel Yin, but he ate a lot of the arowana he caught. After all, the taste of arowana was very delicious and could increase one's cultivation. In the depths of the Dragon Clan's holy land, Lin Rei stood alone on the cliff in front of the cave where Lin Rei was in seclusion. Looking at the mountains and rivers below, he sighed with emotion. This place is good, but it's too easy to extinguish the fighting spirit in my heart. Thinking about the life in these 2 days, Lin Rei was a little scared, but he was also reminiscing about it. The lingering fear was because he realized that his cultivation level was slowly declining, and the aftertaste was that this kind of life was very good. Unfortunately, Lin Rei knew that he was not suitable for this kind of life, at least not now. How is it? These 2 days have been great. Isn't it time to move around? Suddenly, the little dragon's voice rang in Lin Rei's mind. It's time to move around. Looking down, the corners of his mouth curled up, and a smile appeared on his face. The origin of space is coming. You'll probably be very busy during this period of time. But he changed the topic and continued. What about Shuel Yin? What about him? Hearing the little dragon's question, Lin Rei was stunned. Yes, how should he deal with the blood lotus? If he left it alone, it would be a waste of God's gift. If he wanted to subdue it, it wouldn't be easy. Thinking about it gave Lin Rei a headache. Subdue him. Subdue? Lin Rei was stunned. The little dragon said it so casually. Do you think you can subdue a descendant that has existed since the desolate era? Too naive. But of course, Linley naturally wouldn't say this out loud. Blood Lotus is very arrogant. Just from the way he conducts himself, you can tell. In addition, a descendant of the primordial era isn't so easy to subdue. That's right. Just like what Lin Rei said, a descendant from the desolate era was not something that could be subdued with just a few words. Ha! The little dragon laughed. Lin Rei, this is not like you. If you saw such a good thing in the past, you would have taken action without me saying anything. What's wrong with you now? This, the little dragon asked. Lin Ray was stunned for a moment. Then he stammered, let's not talk about it. Let's talk about the origin of space first. It's urgent. I don't want to make a mistake when I collide with the origin of space. Hey, you brat. Seeing that Lin Ray was unwilling to talk about it, the little dragon did not force him and did not ask further. Then, the joking side of him disappeared in an instant. Immediately after, he said seriously, although I can't help much with the origin of space, I can still give some suggestions. If you want to hear it, I will say it. If not, of course I want to. As long as you say it, I will believe it. The little dragon was a little stunned by Lin Ray's quick reaction, but he recovered in the next moment. No matter what, he was once one of the experts, and his mentality was the strongest. Looking at Lin Ray, the little dragon said, the origin of space can only use space and the power of space. There is space around you, so if you want to subdue and refine it, this process is very difficult. The little dragon's words were equivalent to not saying anything to Lin Ray because he felt that the little dragon was talking nonsense. Of course, the origin of space could use space and the power of space. Could it be that the origin of space could use the power of time? What a joke. Let me finish. Understanding Lin Ray's thoughts, the little dragon continued. If you want to succeed in breaking through, the only point is to break through with force. As long as you are strong enough, breaking through the seal of space will not be a problem. Doesn't your martial god stratagem have the effect of overlapping and strangling space? In addition, you have just learned a void blade and are familiar with space. I think it won't be too bad for the origin of space. Damn. The little dragon's words made Lin Ray have the urge to beat it up. What did it mean by won't be too bad? Did it mean that he didn't have much confidence? Yes, I just don't have much confidence. Moreover, according to the dragon race, the strength of the origin of space is at least the cultivation of a mid-stage Tao fruit sage. Think about it. Do you think you can defeat a mid-stage Tao fruit sage with the power of the origin of space? Subconsciously, Linley wanted to say yes, but the word yes was stuck at the tip of his tongue. He understood how powerful these two combined were. Linley didn't dare to be certain that he would be able to defeat them. In fact, it could be said that he didn't have any confidence at all. Therefore, if you want to defeat the origin of space, the only way is to let nature take its course and adapt to the situation. You have to learn to consider different things in different situations. Maybe when you fight the origin of space, you can enter a certain state where you can think faster and win. Do you believe it yourself? It had to be said that the little dragon's pre-battle bluff was a failure. Damn, you're not going to do anything? Seeing that the little dragon was about to run away, Lin Ray couldn't help but curse. Nonsense. This is your business, not mine. What else can I do if I don't run? Besides, I've been out for so long. It's time for me to go back and get my beauty sleep. After saying that, the little dragon's voice disappeared. Even the communication channel with Lin Ray was cut off. Damn it, that's too much. Lin Ray could only complain about the little dragon's behavior. Lin Ray knew the little dragon's strength very well. TSK, how do I subdue the origin of space? Thinking about it, Lin Ray felt a headache coming on. The origin of space was one of the 3,000 great ways. It wasn't something that could be subdued just like that. Without true ability, subduing it would only be in vain. Time passed little by little. The sun set and the moon rose. The night of the dragon race was very charming. Perhaps the most beautiful scene in the world could only be seen here. Looking at the glowing things below, Lin Ray's mood dissipated a lot. Forget it. I'll deal with it as it comes. Since I've already chosen to use the origin of space to become a sage, what's there to be afraid of? At most, I'll be a hero again after 18 years. How would I know if I won't be able to win if I don't give it a shot? Thinking about it, Lin Ray's mood became much better. The haze on his face was swept away. He opened his mouth and said to himself, it's time to go see Blood Lotus. In the next moment, Lin Ray's figure completely disappeared from the edge of the cliff. At this moment, in the stream, Blood Lotus was like a child. She was cursing Lin Ray while swimming with all her might to catch the arowana. Damn it, Brat, don't fall in my hands. If you fall in my hands, I'll kill you. Yeah, I'm an ancient remnant. How dare you ask me to catch fish for you for 2 days and 2 nights? Humph. If you're so capable, don't go out. Once you go out, you'll be handsome while stepping on banana peels. Once you go out, you'll be chased by your enemies. You'll be cheated when you buy medicine. You'll choke to death when you eat, choke to death when you drink water. Once she started scolding, Blood Lotus couldn't stop. That little mouth of hers was like a machine gun, making 222 sounds. Blood Lotus didn't know that when she started complaining, Lin Ray had already appeared not far away. Moreover, Lin Ray had heard every single word she said. Originally, he wanted to discuss with Blood Lotus how to deal with this matter. But now, Lin Ray regretted it. He regretted it. If you want to come out, do it in your next life. As he spoke, he took a step forward and his figure instantly appeared on the shore. His expression was as gloomy as water as he looked at the Blood Lotus in the stream. He coldly snorted and said, "Are you happy cursing? Do you want to pull a group of people over to join you?" At this moment, Blood Lotus was still unaware of Lin Ray's arrival. She subconsciously said those words. Hee, that's great. Just as she finished speaking, the excited Blood Lotus was stunned. Her neck seemed to have stiffened as she slowly turned her head in the direction of the voice. If *CK. Seeing Lin Ray by the shore, Blood Lotus's heart sank. A bad premonition surged in her heart. Sure. I originally wanted to let you go, but now this daddy has changed my mind. A smile surfaced. Since you like to curse, then continue. I won't stop you. Moreover, I feel that this place is especially suitable for you. It's spacious and like spring all year round. It's not me. You don't have to say any more. I understand. Without waiting for Blood Lotus to speak, Lin Ray raised his head and signaled to the 9 azure dragons. Look after him. Wait until I return. You all understand. Roar. The 9 azure dragons roared at the sky in unison. Their voices shook the heavens as though they wanted to pierce through it. Nodding, Lin Ray didn't look at Blood Lotus in the stream. He turned around and disappeared into the forest. At the dragon race's residence, everyone was originally preparing for the migration, as Nameless Dragon said. Just as everyone was busy, a dragon roar that pierced through the heavens suddenly rang in everyone's ears. Plop! The sound of people kneeling on the ground could be heard. The dragons who were originally busy stopped what they were doing when they heard the azure dragons roar. They directly prostrated themselves on the ground and kowtowed to the azure dragon. This oppressive might is... At this moment, in the dragon race's hall, Nameless Dragon raised his head and looked in the direction of the azure dragon. His expression was filled with excitement. Amidst his excitement, there was a hint of disbelief and shock. Lord Ancestral Dragon, how is this possible? Nameless Dragon asked as he looked in the direction of the azure dragon. No, didn't the Ancestral Dragon die in the Great War during the Great Desolate Era? Moreover, there were only 4 Ancestral Dragons in the Great Desolate Era. Yet, there were 9 of them roaring at the same time. For some reason, Wombing Dragon couldn't help but connect this to Linley, who was in the Holy Land, with this. Is it you? Lin Ray didn't know what was happening in the dragon race. He didn't expect that a single roar from the azure dragon would cause such a magnificent scene. At this moment, Lin Ray had already begun to prepare for the arrival of the space origin. Inside the cave, the primal chaos dragon spear was stabbed in the ground not far from Lin Ray. Waves of oppressive might flashed in the cave. Are we going to fight? Sakura, who was sitting together with Lin Ray, looked at Lin Ray with a solemn expression. There was a flash of worry on his face. He admitted that Lin Ray was very strong. However, the space origin wasn't separated like the slaughter origin. Although the space origin's cultivation fell when it separated from Hongjun, no one could say how much it would fall. What made Sakura even more worried was that the space origin and the time origin were existences that existed side by side. These 2 origins were existences that could only be talked about. Now, that Lin Ray was going to fight with it. Could he win? The atmosphere became oppressive because of Sakura's words. It was as if Lin Ray was about to die. Husband, looking at Lin Ray, and called out softly. She didn't hide the worry on her face. She knew that she couldn't stop her husband. The only thing she could do was to support him. She would spare no effort to support him. Don't worry, nothing will happen. Seeing the worry on Ying's face, Lin Ray's heart trembled. He gave her a reassuring look. And I believe in you. You too. Can't you play properly? Don't you see that there's a good single person beside you? Perhaps it was to relieve the oppressive atmosphere. As soon as Sakura said this, the atmosphere was instantly reversed. Puffed. Ying, who was originally full of worry, burst out laughing the moment she heard this. Although she was still worried about Lin Ray, it was much better than before. Huh. Looking at the three people and the smiles on their faces, Lin Ray was even more determined to become stronger. He had to be on the side because he wanted to keep this moment forever. He wanted to keep this smile on the faces of his family, friends, and brothers forever. Chapter 976. It's here. In the depths of the sacred ground, Lin Ray was sitting on the edge of the cliff. His originally closed eyes suddenly opened, and a light flashed. The corner of his mouth slightly curled up, and a smile appeared. He raised his head and looked at the entrance of the Dragon Clan. What? You mean? At the side, Sakura, who was sitting together with Lin Ray, heard Lin Ray's words. He raised his head and followed Lin Ray's gaze. His expression was filled with worry and shock. That's right. If what Nameless Dragon said is true, I'm afraid that the Space Origin is really here. With regards to the arrival of the Space Origin, other than being excited, Lin Ray only had battle intent left. He was eager to know how strong his current combat strength was. But at the same time, there was also a hint of worry in the battle intent. Not for other reasons, but the little dragon's words were very clear. The strength of the Space Origin had already exceeded the scope of his ability. And if he wanted to win and subdue it, the only way was to counter soldiers with arms and water with an earth weir. He had to take one step at a time and adapt according to his own experience. Lin Ray understood that this battle would not be easy. It could even be said that it would be difficult to move forward. Can you defeat the Space Origin? TSK, don't say if I can. I can only say that I will take one step at a time. F***CK? Lin Ray's words made Sakura blush with shame. He did not expect Lin Ray to say such words. This was completely different from Lin Ray's previous state. Therefore, he understood that this time, Lin Ray had encountered a true expert. Moreover, it was an expert that could threaten him. All right. Don't be like this. It's not like we have no chance of winning. The most important thing now is to test how strong the Space Origin is, as well as its weaknesses and flaws. From there, we can find a way to defeat it. Seeing Lin Ray so determined, Sakura did not say anything else. He stood up and looked at the entrance of the Dragon Clan. His original lazy attitude could not be dispelled. A terrifying sword intent broke out from his body. At this moment, Sakura was like a sword god. If Long Wuming of the dragon race saw such a terrifying sword intent from Sakura, he would probably be so shocked that he wouldn't even be able to speak. After all, the impression that Sakura gave Long Wuming before was that of a lazy person. Perhaps it was because Sakura had never released his cultivation from beginning to end. And at this moment, Sakura was completely different from before. The current him was like an unsheathed sword, revealing its sharpness, causing one's soul to tremble. Since you said that you want to investigate the flaws of the space source, let me do it. I haven't been active for a long time. Now that I've met such a powerful opponent, I might be able to help you find the flaws. I might even be able to raise my cultivation base and realm during the battle. Seeing Sakura's high fighting spirit, Lin Ray was stunned for a moment before shaking his head helplessly. Forget about you. I'm talking about Nameless Dragon. Isn't he still here? Although I haven't really fought with Nameless Dragon before, his combat power isn't what you see. Oh, that seems to be the case. After all, he's the Dragon Emperor of the Dragon Clan. If he doesn't have any trump cards, I don't think he should be the Dragon Emperor. You don't have to say anymore. Since I've already decided, I have to do it. Otherwise, my future path will be hindered. All right. Seeing Sakura's determination, Lin Rei wanted to say something else. But in the end, he didn't say anything. It was because what Sakura said was right. A sword cultivator's Tao was to press forward without fear. If he didn't do what he said, or if it was because he was a little afraid in his heart, then this sword cultivator's path would come to an end. In the end, an unparalleled sword cultivator would be drowned in the long river of time. Hell, let's go. In the next moment, Sakura's figure turned into a sharp sword and rushed into the sky, disappearing in front of Lin Rei. In the valley at the entrance of the Dragon Clan, a young man appeared. Looking at the picturesque scenery, a smile appeared on his face. Sai, really? You had to wait for me to do it personally. Looking at the wall in front of him that had nowhere to go, the young man sighed and shook his head. Then, he raised his hand, and a natural ripple of Tao rhyme emerged around him. Open. He lifted his head and whispered to the wall in front of him. Suddenly, a strange energy came out from his hand and arrived in front of the wall. The energy released by the young man was very powerful. The moment the energy appeared, the spiritual chi in the entire valley began to become irritable. In the end, the spiritual chi completely lost its consciousness and was driven toward the wall by the young man's energy. And the moment the energy was about to collide with the wall, it miraculously stopped. Rumble. With a loud rumble, a spatial door slowly opened at the place where the energy stopped. I've already said that space is useless to me. In front of me, all spatial spells are useless. This one, I represent space. Looking at the door, the young man spoke with confidence as though what he said was true. The door opened, and the young man strode into the door unhurriedly. In the end, he disappeared into the door. And the moment the young man disappeared, the door also disappeared as though it was never there. The scenery in the valley remained the same. There was no change in the slightest because of what happened just now. However, it was different in the Dragon Clan. The moment the young man opened the door that connected to the Dragon Clan opened at the same time. In response, the disciples guarding the entrance of the Dragon Clan hurriedly sent a voice transmission to Wooming Dragon, asking him to come and take a look. At this moment, the Dragon Clan could be said to be empty. This was because on the second day, Wooming Dragon had moved all the members of the Dragon Clan who wanted to leave out of the space. The reason why the few disciples guarding the door were still there was because they had given up when they were about to leave. They felt that this was their home and they had to protect this place. Even though they knew that their cultivation might not be of any use in the journey, they still decided to stay. There was not the slightest hint of retreat in their expressions. In the Dragon Clan's hall, Wooming Dragon was already prepared. At this moment, he was in a state of extreme nervousness and anxiety. The arrival of the origin of space made him nervous because the strength of the origin of space was right there. Whoosh! Just as Wooming Dragon was feeling anxious, a stream of light pierced through the air and finally stopped in front of him. This is the voice transmission jade slip from the disciple guarding the door. Could it be? As if he had thought of something, Wooming Dragon's expression changed as he hurriedly injected his cultivation into the jade slip. Lord Dragon Emperor, this is bad. I don't know why the Dragon Clan's entrance suddenly opened by itself. Please come and check it out as soon as possible. Looks like it's here. Wooming Dragon did not doubt at all. To be able to open the Dragon Clan's entrance without anyone noticing, other than the origin of space, Wooming Dragon could not think of anyone else who could do it. Even a saint would not be able to do it. Sigh. Looking at the hall, Wooming Dragon let out a long sigh. A look of helplessness flashed across his face as he took a step forward and disappeared from the hall. At the same time, after bidding farewell to Lin Rei, Sakura came to the entrance and waited. There was no other reason but for the origin of space. Even though he knew that he might not be a match for the origin of space, sword cultivators were like that. They pressed forward fearlessly. Now, above the void, he was looking down at the Dragon Clan's entrance with a nervous expression. And in Sakura's hand, the sword within the flute appeared. At this moment, the sword within the flute was not at its original level. In the process of re-refining, Lin Rei had fused several kinds of rare materials. Because of this, the sword within the flute's level rose sharply and finally stopped at the semi-sage level. Lin Rei felt sorry for not allowing the sword within the flute to enter the sage realm. However, Sakura was already very happy to be able to upgrade the sword within the flute to this level. Originally, when he saw the sword within the flute, Lin Rei had planned to change it to a sage tool. However, Sakura did not allow him to do so. In the past, the sword within the flute could not be together with him. It could be said that he had used the sword within the flute to treat his brothers, friends, and comrades in arms on the spot. Sakura was unable to change a brother whom he could entrust his back to. It's here. Seeing the dragon clan's entrance appear, Sakura held the sword within the flute tightly. His palms were covered in sweat. His face was even soaked in sweat because of nervousness and excitement. Whoosh! Under the attention of the three parties, a young man stepped out of the entrance. The moment the young man stepped out, the space portal disappeared instantly. Seems like everyone is waiting for me. The young man stepped out of the portal and felt a few hidden auras. A smile appeared on his face. Who are you? Why are you trespassing into my Dragon Clan's territory? However, just when the situation was getting more and more serious, suddenly, an extremely uncoordinated voice broke the solemn atmosphere. Lowering his head, he looked at the person who interrupted him. His gaze suddenly froze as he said, "Are you talking to me?" "Yes, it's you. Why are you trespassing into my Dragon Clan's territory?" As for the young man, the Dragon Clan's disciple who was guarding the gate did not know who he was, let alone why he was here. He only knew that the person in front of him had trespassed into his home. "Hey, who am I? I am Kong Shi. I am the future owner of this space." Oh no, it should be said that from the moment I stepped into this space had already changed its name and became my private property. Did you hear me clearly? Looking at the disciple who was guarding the gate, Kong Shi's expression was full of contempt and disdain. "You, shut up and step back." Just as the gatekeeper was about to say something, a familiar voice suddenly rang in his ears. Lord Dragon Emperor, why are you?" That's right, this voice belonged to the Dragon Clan's Emperor, Wooming Dragon. After receiving the Jade Slip, Wooming Dragon hurried over to protect the gatekeeper. However, he did not expect that these gatekeeper disciples would be so stupid as to go against the origin of space. Wooming Dragon was sure that if he had not shouted just now and allowed the gatekeeper to continue speaking, the only result that awaited him would be death. Step back. Seeing that the gatekeeper wanted to refute, Wooming Dragon did not give him any face and coldly reprimanded him. Yes. This disciple will step back now. It was not good for him to leave. Without any rebuttal, he directly retreated 1,000 meters behind Wooming Dragon and stood there respectfully without saying anything. Seeing this scene, Sakura, who was above the void, saw it very clearly. Even their conversation was very clear. Wooming Dragon took a step forward and came to Kong Shi's side. Looking at him, Wooming Dragon's expression was full of confusion. He did not understand why Kong Shi was so obsessed with the Dragon Clan space. Why? Why must it be our Dragon Clan space? Although there are not many spaces like this in the Divine Realm, there are still some. Why are you so fixated on our Dragon Clan space? Finally, the thoughts that he had been hiding in his heart all this time were finally spoken out. As the saying goes, if one does not speak, one will not feel happy. At this moment, he felt much more comfortable after speaking out his thoughts. Faced with Wooming Dragon's question, Sakura smiled bitterly and shook his head. He did not have the opportunity to continue watching. Hell, why? Actually, this seat also does not know. However, since this seat has seen this space, it must be mine. Do you understand? However, there's one thing that you did not do wrong. Right now, there are only a few of you left in the Dragon Clan. It would appear that you have made a good decision. However, you have forgotten that I am talking about everyone, including you. Boom! A frightening oppressive might suddenly burst forth from his body. In an instant, it arrived before Wooming Dragon and began to oppress him. PFFF, When the oppressive might arrive, those with high cultivation like Wombing Dragon were naturally fine. However, the disciples behind Sakura suffered a calamity. A mouthful of old blood spurted out from their mouths. Their complexions instantly turned deathly pale. Their vision turned black, and their bodies fell weakly onto the ground. They lost consciousness. You, sensing that his disciples had fainted but were not in any danger, Wombing Dragon was relieved. Don't panic. Seeing Wombing Dragon's furious expression, Kong Shi smiled. He raised his head and looked towards Sakura's direction. He opened his mouth and said with a smile, "Friend, there is no point in just watching. Why don't you show yourself?" And then, Kong Shi's words attracted Wombing Dragon's attention. At this moment, Lin Rei's figure involuntarily appeared in his mind. "Lin Rei, is that you?" Hee, I did not expect your alertness to be so high." Just as Wombing Dragon was secretly muttering in his heart, Sakura's voice rang out. Above the void, Sakura was flying in the air. He was rushing towards Kong Shi. When facing Kong Shi, Lin Rei did not even think of hiding. After all, with the other party's cultivation, he only needed to slightly probe to discover him. "It's you?" Suddenly, a cry of surprise came from Wombing Dragon's mouth. His voice was filled with shock and disbelief. The person who appeared was the Lin Rei that he was thinking of. Instead, it was Sakura, who he had once thought to be a useless person. "Your cultivation." Sensing Sakura's cultivation, Wombing Dragon was stunned. Such a cultivation, such an oppressive aura. Previously, he had foolishly thought that Sakura was a useless person. Sakura did not answer Wombing Dragon's doubts. At this moment, in Sakura's eyes, there was only the space origin, Kong Shi. Sakura could feel a sense of oppression from Kong Shi. "You are very strong. And man, you too. I can feel the sword intent emitting from your body. That unparalleled sword intent makes me very uncomfortable." "Is that so?" "Yes." Seeing Kong Shi's reaction, Sakura smiled and said, "Then you can continue to feel uncomfortable. But I do not like this feeling. For such a phenomenon, the usual solution is to destroy it. Only then can I feel comfortable." So, suddenly, the smell of gunpowder filled the air. Wombing Dragon was like an insignificant person who was ignored by Sakura and Kong Shi. Chapter 977. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk, the sound of something breaking through the air resounded. A moment ago, Sakura was still standing far away. In the next moment, the place where Sakura was standing was completely empty. There was no trace of him. "And then, trying to play speed with me?" A hint of disdain flashed through Kong Shi's eyes. It was as if Sakura was a clown in his eyes. "Clown? It's still hard to say if I'm a clown or not. That would depend on whether or not you can keep up with my speed. Also, Tsung." The sound of a sword rang out from behind Kong Shi. The sound was sharp. An ice-cold aura soared into the sky, and the surrounding temperature dropped. "Sword." Finally, the instant he said that word, a 3-feet-long cold light rushed out from the back of Kong Shi's head like starlight. It pierced towards Kong Shi's head. The speed was so fast that it caused one to be speechless. The entire process did not even take a second. At this moment, Sakura was using his full strength. He did not hold back in the slightest. He understood that if he were to hold back at this moment, the only thing that awaited him would be death. Because the difference in cultivation between the two of them was truly too great. If he did not catch his opponent off guard and fight with him, he would likely not have the chance to fight here anymore. This speed. At the side, Wombing Long, who had been paying attention to the scene, was shocked the instant he saw a sword appear behind Kong Shi's back. At the moment when he saw the sword, I Am and Sakura, he understood that he had been a complete clown from beginning to end. However, this was not Wombing Long's fault. After all, he had been in a high position for a long time. After all, he had been used to hearing some praises. Thus, his heart was already blinded by that kind of thing. "You think that you can injure me with just this bit of ability. If that's the case, then your horizons are too shallow, because you don't know how big this world is. The sword cultivators that are stronger than you are as numerous as the hairs on an ox. After saying that, a hint of sternness flashed through Kong Shi's eyes. He pulled out his left hand that was hugging his chest and lightly raised it. He wanted to grab Sakura's sword. Umph. If my horizons are shallow, then your eyes can be considered blind. Because my sword is not something that those trash can compare to. Chaotic Heaven Sword Art. One sword playing the zither. It moved, the first form of Sakura's strongest sword art. Its power couldn't be underestimated, and even Linrei was a little afraid. Chaos Heaven Sword Art itself wasn't a sword art, but a staff art. Because Sakura wasn't good at staff arts, and this Chaos Heaven staff art was very powerful, Sakura spent a long time to change this staff art into the current Chaos Heaven Sword Art. Even so, the shadow of the staff technique still could not be removed. After all, this sword technique was not created by him. Although the moves of the sword technique were thought of by him, in the end, the source of this difficult task was a powerful staff technique. Although the appearance could be removed, the essence was inconvenient. Bang! This sword could be said to have caused the world to lose its color. This sword could be said to have become the focus of everyone's attention. What this? A shocked voice came out of Kong Shi's mouth. At that moment, a sharp pain came from Kong Shi's palm, then spread to his arm, and then to his whole body. A blood-curdling scream came out of Kong Shi's mouth. His face was full of disbelief. At the same time, an expression of wanting to kill flashed across his face. How is this possible? How is this possible? How could his sword art be so powerful? His cultivation is clearly only at the hierarch realm. How can the power displayed by him be so powerful? Has his sword intent reached such a high level? Otherwise, how can he hurt me? It shouldn't be. How can there be such a powerful expert in such a low-level plane? Why is it like this? It shouldn't be. One after another, impossible thoughts flashed in Kong Shi's mind. However, he didn't know that Linrei was even stronger and more monstrous than him. Moreover, everyone might have forgotten that not only did Linrei awaken his bloodline, but Linrei's blood was also lying in Sakura's body. Although it didn't awaken his bloodline, the energy of the blood had increased Sakura's combat power by several levels. Swoosh! A figure rushed out of the battle range, and a scarlet light flashed in the air. Bang! Bang! Following that figure flew out 100 zhong and rolled on the ground a few times before forcibly circulating his cultivation to stop himself. Who is it? Looking at the figure lying on the ground in the distance, Wu Minglong's heart was filled with hope. In his heart, he hoped that that person was Sakura. Perhaps it was because of his psychological effect that made him think that Sakura would lose this battle. In his opinion, Linrei was very powerful. At the very least, he was stronger than Sakura. Therefore, even if Sakura lost, there was still Linrei. He believed in Linrei very much, because Linrei had already given him enough strength to shock and terrify him. Bang! A muffled sound came from the distance. A piece of stone that was pressing on the figure's body was removed. The figure's true appearance appeared in front of everyone's eyes. SSS. How is this possible? Looking at the miserable figure in the distance, Wu Minglong couldn't help but speak. However, just as his voice came out, he realized his own situation and immediately shut his mouth. Looks like my strength is still not enough. Such a strong person actually only suffered light injuries. When he looked at Kong in the distance, Sakura could feel that the other party's aura was not the slightest bit. On the contrary, it was much stronger. This caused his heart to tremble, and he became vigilant. He was very clear that even when he was facing Linrei, although he felt incomparable pressure compared to the person in front of him, it could be said that it paled in comparison. There was no comparison at all. Of course, Linrei's strength was not very strong. However, against Kong in the sky, there was nothing he could do. After all, Kong in the sky was the source of the space origin Dao finger. Bah! You melon, you actually made me eat a mouthful of dirt. Just you wait. After feeling the foreign object in his mouth, Kong in the sky frowned and quickly opened his mouth to spit out the thing in his mouth. However, the dirt had already melted in Kong's mouth. Even if he spat it out, he could still feel the sticky and stinky feeling and taste. You are indeed very strong. You only suffered a slight injury under my moves. I have to say that I am beginning to admire you. To be honest, for such a strong person, only a battle was the greatest admiration and respect for the opponent. So what if I admire you? You will eventually become a pile of bones under my feet. So boy, if you have any last wishes, just say it now. Because I can't guarantee that you will still be there in the next moment. Oh no, I mean whether you will still have the chance to speak in the next moment. As soon as these words came out, the air within a radius of 1,000 feet suddenly stopped. The temperature plummeted to a horrifying level. Heck, come on. I'm waiting for you to get angry. Only by doing this can I find his flaws and weaknesses for me. A smile appeared on his face. When he raised his sword and pointed it at the sky, a tyrannical aura soared into the sky. If one did not sense it carefully, one would not be able to notice that the tyrannical aura contained a shocking sword intent. As the saying goes, those who strike first will gain the upper hand. Those who strike later will suffer. Striking first to gain the upper hand is a common thing in war. The second style of chaotic heaven sword technique, frost sword. Suddenly, the temperature of the surrounding air dropped again. A layer of frost formed in the surroundings. Icicles condensed and fell from the sky. This aura, feeling this strange aura, Kong Shi was stunned. It was similar to the scene when he was sent flying by Sakura's sword. He felt very sullen. To think that he, an existence at the pinnacle of Tao, would be defeated so easily. Suppressed. This made him feel very embarrassed. Not yet. Do you really think I'm a sick cat if I don't show my might? A strange energy overflowed and formed around Kong Shi. This is... Seeing the abnormal energy around Kong Shi, Sakura was stunned. Then, he recovered and continued to charge at Kong Shi. Stupid. Looking at Sakura, who was still charging at him, Kong Shi sneered. He raised his hand, and a move that seemed to be a battle technique rushed out of Kong Shi's palm. Frost Sword Chi, freeze everything for me. He moved, not far from Kong Shi. A powerful frost chi emerged and instantly sealed the area within a radius of 1,000 feet. Even Nameless Dragon could not react in time and was directly wrapped by the frost sword chi. The space was sealed. Kong Shi frowned and lowered his head to look at Sakura. Looking at his smiling face, a bad premonition surged in his heart. Oh, whoosh, 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 PFFF, PFFF. Just at this moment, when Kong Shi was in a strange state, a blue sword chi formed by the frost chi began to condense and charge towards Kong Shi's Nameless Dragon. As for Sakura, who was in the middle of the frost sword chi, he was not afraid at all because the frost sword chi would not attack him. As for the energy that Kong Shi slashed out, the moment it neared Sakura, the frost sword chi moved and surrounded that energy to wear it down. Although the speed did not seem to be very fast, Sakura did not know what incredible thing he had done. Others might not know, but Ruo Lin and Lei would definitely understand what this strange energy was. It was not a low-grade energy, but a kind of grateful nourishment and a person who pursued his own essence. As for the energy that Kong Shi displayed, it was the power of space that he yearned for even in his dreams. Time passed bit by bit. Under Sakura's control, the frost sword chi disintegrated bit by bit, proving the strongest existence. Devouring heaven art, devour for me. Suddenly, a low roar came from Sakura's mouth. In the next moment, a strange energy suddenly appeared. The moment the strange devouring energy appeared, it began to devour everything around it. Devouring heaven art was Lin Rei's. He understood the strength of this devouring heaven art. The label of devouring everything was not just for show. Ding, the devouring energy is constantly flowing into the body. Please pay attention. Hearing this, Lin Rei was obviously stunned. He used his heart to feel the energy lying in his body. I didn't expect this to work. Feeling the energy was something that he had to do at the last minute. Ding, do you want to check the information and update it? The system's voice appeared again. F*CK. Lin Ray cursed. Yes, yes. After saying that, the class ended. A screen appeared in front of Lin Ray. Lin Ray's information appeared in front of Lin Ray. Name: Lin Ray. Age: 3793. System level: for cultivation base. Peak late reverend experience: 158364872 Li Long, 200000000 Li Long. Spiritual roots: thunder, fire, wood, metal, chaos. Spiritual roots talent: Tao Fruit Saint. Great Circle cultivation method: primal chaos. Scripture level 4, incomplete. Devouring heavenly technique, growable, primordial pill refinement. Entry level cultivation method: cloud formula. Emperor level cultivation method: same formation. Emperor level cultivation method: tyrant. Body technique: Emperor level cultivation method: thunder tyrant body. Emperor level cultivation method: lightning scripture. Divine level cultivation method: martial techniques. Butterfly steps. Entry level: star finger, proficient. Silent thunder spear art. High profound level martial technique. Now practice to entry level. Can produce 3 lightning bolts. 1000 sword art. Heaven level. Level 3 incineration. Emperor level: dragon subduing step. Emperor level: Shura spear art. King level: Shura sword formation. King level: divine transformation. Emperor level: colored glaze. Lower sacred level: 1000 illusions. Lower sacred level: spiritual treasures. Chaos dragon spear. Top grade divine weapon. Martial emperor divine spear. Lower grade divine weapon. Growable: 10,000 magic sword. No grade: 10,000 beast treasure furnace. Heavenly temple. Upper grade immortal weapon. Heaven and earth Huayu. No grade: demon subduing sword. Lower sacred level: cauldron of heaven and earth. Lower sacred level: equipment. Flowing light divine weapon set mount. Middle reverend god lucky draw wheel. 0 character lottery system. 0 times reputation. 0 exchange points. 340. 000 spiritual stones. 0 lower sacred level alchemist. 1824 Li Long. 10,000 Li Long. Sacred level array master. 134 Li Long. 10,000 Li Long. Sacred level weapon master. 1536 Li Long. 10,000 Long. Saint level symbol master. 186 mythical dragons. 10,000 mythical dragons. Top grade spiritual herbs. None natural. Materials and earthly treasures. None mission. Main mission: enter the holy world within 1,000 years. Side mission: refine the Tower of Babel. Unlimited. Pills: 11 mind control pills. 5639 mind control pills. Isn't this still the same? Looking at his own information, he frowned and asked, "Ding! Information change has begun. Host, please look forward to it." The system spoke. Lin Ray obediently stood aside and quietly watched what would happen next. Ding! The hesitant doppelganger is forcefully absorbing the space origin, so the weapon grade is about to begin. As for what the system had said about changing the information, after experiencing it for real, he would feel helpless about the cruelty of time. You're telling me that you're changing it? What the hell are you trying to do? Linley was very angry. He had thought that something amazing would happen this time. Tisk, you're thinking too much. Right now, you should hurry up and care about Sakura. His body has already reached the point where it's about to collapse. At the entrance of a dragon race. Bam! A figure descended from the sky and knelt down on one knee. Using his hands to support himself, he lowered his head, making it impossible to see his emotions. My eyesore chi is not to be trifled with. You actually took it head on. Should I say that you're stupid or stupid? Really? That's right. The one who knelt down on one knee was still Kong Shi. Kong Shi thought that using his cultivation would be enough to suppress Sakura. Who knew that Sakura still had a powerful sword technique? UPFFF. A mouthful of old blood spurted out. Because of vomiting blood, Kong Shi's face turned pale. Facing Sakura, Kong Shi's eyes no longer had the kind of servility that he had in the academy. How is it? My chaotic heaven sword technique is not bad, right? Although it didn't hurt you, at least it hurt you. Chapter 978. At this moment, Kong Shi could be described as battered and exhausted. His hair was disheveled as he knelt on the ground with one knee. His clothes were cut open by something sharp. His clothes were probably worse than a beggar's. In particular, his face was as pale as a sheet of paper. Compared to the previous Kong Shi, it was like the difference between heaven and earth. Perhaps even his friends would not be able to recognize that he was the handsome and carefree Kong Shi. Sakura was very satisfied with this. Although he didn't injure Kong Shi's foundation, at least his sword art was able to deal with an expert like Kong Shi. Bastard! Looking up at Sakura in the sky, a murderous aura flashed across his face. He crazily mobilized his cultivation base. It could be said that he felt the most humiliated today. He was forced to retreat twice by a hierarch cultivator in one day. This was something that had never happened to him before. If the other origins in Hongjun knew that the dignified space origin was humiliated like this, they would probably laugh at him. After all, the relationship between the origins wasn't very good. In addition, Kong Shi used to rely on his strength as the space origin, so he didn't put the other origins in his eyes. As a result, he didn't even have a true friend now. What's the use of just talking? Come up and fight with me. I know you haven't shown your true strength yet. This is a kind of humiliation for me, and even more so for you. Looking at Kong Shi, Sakura opened his mouth. Every word was so serious and sonorous. As an opponent, we should respect each other. But you forget it, let's fight. The third test of the chaotic heaven sword art. Blood contract. Sakura moved again. This time, he used the third sword art. This move was very powerful. Even an early-stage Dao fruit saint would have to use all his strength to fight against it. Otherwise, the final result would only be destruction. Function Sovereign Bloodline, activate. Boom! A tyrannical aura rushed out from Sakura's body in an instant. Then, the tyrannical aura began to merge with the blood contract of the sword. Raising his head to look at Sakura, Kong Shi's heart was slightly dignified. He could feel the power coming from this sword. If he were to think about the previous battle, he was afraid that what awaited him wouldn't be as simple as his clothes being torn and him coughing up blood. Time and Space Codex, Spatial Enchantment, Condense. At this moment, Kong Shi was no longer the same as before. Instead, he was using his own ability. The spatial tome had been in his mind since he was born. A series of strange and mysterious seals appeared in Kong Shi's hands. Not far above him, a transparent barrier suddenly appeared, trying to cover Kong Shi. Do you think that I won't be able to hurt you just because you have a turtle shell? Too naive. When he looked at Kong Shi, a mocking smile appeared on his face. Then, his figure became illusory and faded away. This scene made Kong Shi, who was on the ground, extremely shocked. Impossible, how can he be so fast? Clearly before. Thinking of the speed that Sakura used previously compared to now, it was simply like heaven and earth. If the current Sakura was the speed of a Kuan Peng, then his previous speed was the speed of a little bird. However, right at this moment, a strange and hair-raising feeling appeared in front of him. Didn't your parents tell you not to get distracted during a battle? If you get distracted, you will die. Suddenly, a blood-red light flashed and finally landed on Kong Shi's barrier. Foolish! How can this sovereign spatial barrier be? Kacha! Kacha! Just when Kong Shi was praising his spatial barrier, a kacha sound entered his ears. A bad premonition welled up in his heart. Raising his head, he looked for the source of the sound. Suddenly, the place where the blood-red light touched was broken. A crack appeared. This wasn't the end, but the beginning. Kacha! Kacha? The sound continued. The cracks spread out in all directions like a spiderweb. The speed wasn't very fast, but looking at these cracks, Kong Shi suddenly felt that his face in this other world was especially painful. It was so painful that he couldn't breathe. How can this be? Other than shock, Kong Shi didn't know what words he should use to describe his feelings at this moment. He was repelled time and time again. This caused his self-esteem to be seriously injured. Nothing is impossible. Looking at Kong Shi, Sakura once again raised his sword and rushed towards the place where the cracks were concentrated. You are not the only powerful one. Although this is the low-level plane that you speak of, it doesn't mean that there are no powerful ones here. Furthermore, to be honest, you can't do it. Pong! The sword landed on the barrier. The place where the cracks were concentrated was now completely shattered. Gotcha! Boom! Finally, under Kong Shi's gaze, the spatial barrier was completely shattered and no longer existed. PFFF Kong Shi spat out a mouthful of old blood. The original color on his face disappeared and was replaced by a touch of paleness. How can this be? You. How can your sword art not be afraid of my spatial origin? Furthermore, your strength. Kong Shi didn't dare to believe. He didn't dare to believe that a mere hierarch realm cultivator was able to break the barrier he set up. Looking at Kong Shi, Sakura had a face of disdain. He said, "This is the price you have to pay for looking down on me. In the future, you can choose not to use your full strength. But next time, I don't know if your head will still be on your neck." Huntian Sword Art's 4th style, Reincarnation Dao's Ghost Sword. Kill. He moved again. This time, Sakura didn't give Kong Shi any time to think. He directly slashed at Kong Shi's body again and again. As for Kong Shi, he didn't have the time to think. At this moment, he only wanted to regain his face and ruthlessly trample on Sakura so that he would never be able to turn the tables. Pong! At this moment, both sides began to truly fight. It wasn't like before, when Kong Shi also used his sword art. This time, Sakura felt a sense of helplessness welling up in his heart. Because, although he still couldn't dodge every sword that pierced Kong Shi's body, 7 out of 10 swords were dodged. This made Sakura feel very depressed. However, this made Sakura even more interested. At the same time, he knew where he was lacking. Pong pong. As time passed, the speed of the two's fight became worse and worse. Even Long Wooming couldn't keep up with the speed of the two. Too strong. If I were to go up, I'm afraid the result would be a complete defeat. Looking at the two's fight, one crazier than the other, he was a little afraid of these three. He's going to lose. At this moment, Lin Ray, who was sitting cross-legged on the ground above the cliff in the depths of the sacred ground, had been paying attention to the fight between Sakura and Kong Shi. However, at this moment, Lin Ray suddenly shook his head and said such words. "Husband, is that Sakura?" Behind them, Ing opened her mouth and asked. In her heart, she felt that although she wanted to see, she had the heart but was powerless. She was already powerless with regards to the hand speed of Sakura and Ing. And, that's right, the strength of the space origin is too strong. Although Sakura is strong enough to face such an expert like the space origin, even if he can dominate the divine world and be easygoing, those who haven't entered the Saint realm are all ants. After saying that, Lin Ray paused for a moment before continuing. If Sakura is able to break through to the Saint realm, I'm afraid the current situation will be reversed. Lin Ray was very clear that if Sakura was able to break through to the Saint realm, with his means and the power of his bloodline, it wouldn't be a problem to fight against the space origin or even defeat him. The key point was that Sakura hadn't broken through yet. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in such a sorry state. It's time for me to go on stage. Although you didn't find the flaw of the space origin, you did better. If it were an ordinary ultimate god, not to mention wanting to get close to the space origin, it would be enough to even be able to take half a move from him. Husband, it's okay, don't worry. Wait for me to come back and cook for you. Understanding the worry in his wife's heart, he turned around and gave a reassuring smile to the two of them. Then, his figure flashed and disappeared. At the entrance of the Dragon Clan, at this time, the two streamers in the sky were constantly colliding with each other. However, if one's eyes were fast enough, they would be able to see clearly that Sakura was covered in blood at this moment. His hair was messy like a chicken's nest. The only thing on his body that was intact was probably the flute sword in his hand. Admit defeat. As long as you beg me, I will let you go. While fighting with him, he welcomed the temptation with a smile. You want me to beg for mercy in your next life? Aren't you just a few more years of cultivation than me? What's so great about that? Give me another 1,000 years. By then, it's not certain who will live and who will die. When Ruo Lin Lei heard this, he didn't hesitate to say the words, "I believe in you," without the slightest hesitation. "Do you think you still have a chance?" Looking at Sakura, Kong Shi sneered. A touch of disdain flashed. Then, his figure moved. In the blink of an eye, he came to Sakura's side. He condensed and was about to rush to Sakura's head. "Am I going to die?" Feeling the breath of death, Sakura smiled bitterly in his heart. "In the end, I still couldn't help Lin Ray find the flaw of the space origin. It's really my people. Even if Hanjun comes in person, he can't take them away. You're just a space origin created by nothingness. Who gave you the courage to touch my people?" Suddenly, a sentence rang in the ears of everyone in the field, including Kong Shi, who was about to kill Sakura. At this moment, Kong Shi's hand had already appeared not far in front of Sakura. It was full of energy that made people tremble. But at this moment, the fist that was rushing towards Sakura stopped abruptly in the air. Sakura looked at the sky stupidly. His brows were tightly knitted, and a dignified expression appeared on his face. Lin Ray, Sakura, who had closed his eyes and waited for death to come, heard this voice. His heart trembled, and his face was full of surprise. "Oomph, you brat!" Lin Ray's figure came. In a flash, he came to Sakura's side. In front of Kong Shi, he took Sakura to a distance with a calm expression. "I told you not to come, but you just had to come. Now you're injured and almost killed. Are you stupid?" Looking at Lin Ray's constant scolding, Sakura's heart was full of gratitude and warmth. He understood what Lin Ray meant. Still smiling. Sakura was still smiling mischievously. Lin Ray took out a medicinal pill and handed it to Sakura. "Eat it and leave the rest to me. He is very strong. Be careful." As if he wanted to say something, he didn't say it in the end. Instead, he reminded Lin Ray to be careful. Then, he swallowed the medicinal pill and sat cross-legged to recover. Who are you?" At this moment, Kong Shi regained his senses and looked at the two people in front of him. They looked the same, but the aura on their body was completely different. It could be said that when he saw Lin Ray, his heart inexplicably trembled. "Oomph, you don't need to know who I am. You only need to know that you can't touch my people. If you touch my people, I will cut off your hand. If you touch both of them, I will directly destroy you." Sakura, who was sitting cross-legged, said coldly. After the battle with Kong Shi, he was very clear about his opponent's strength. And now, Lin Ray said so. In Sakura's opinion, this was undoubtedly boasting. "Oh, young man's tone is quite big." Hearing Lin Ray's words, Kong Shi wasn't unhappy. Instead, he looked at Lin Ray with interest. "Many people have said this to me before, but in the end, there's only one result for those people." "Is that so? However, I believe that my ending will be different from those people. So, come, let me see how strong you are." Clang! A long spear engraved with 9 dragons sounded in Lin Ray's hand. At this moment, the long spear in Lin Ray's hand gave people a feeling as if the hand of the Grim Reaper was already in front of your neck and could end you at any time. Even Kong Shi was no exception. The moment he saw the long spear, his heart stopped. He frowned slightly and became vigilant. Martial God strategy, strangle. In an instant, Lin Ray's long spear moved. The long spear with a cold light rushed towards Kong Shi. The power of space? Looking at Lin Ray's long spear, a familiar feeling welled up in his heart. If this wasn't the power of space, then what was it? Yes, the power of space. Kong Shi said. Lin Ray didn't feel comfortable with this at all. Using the power of space in front of the origin of space, in other people's eyes, was undoubtedly playing with a big knife in front of an expert, courting death. Bang! The Chaos Dragon Spear arrived not far from Kong Shi and stopped abruptly. It was as if the tip of the spear was stuck in the air. In the next moment, the space within a radius of 1,000 meters began to distort. Then, with the tip of the spear as the center, it began to overlap and compress. Overlapping space? Squeezing? Strangle? A touch of surprise flashed in Kong Shi's eyes. It's not over yet. Turning his spear around, he aimed it at the air and stabbed it fiercely. This was the so-called opportunity to kill the enemy before he could use his divine power. This was also a strategy. After all, his strength was not as good as his opponent's. In this situation, he could only find another way and adapt to the situation. Bastard, feeling the aura of death coming from the front, Kongsher didn't dare to be careless. He raised his hand and turned around. The power of space crazily surged. Chapter 979. This battle couldn't be not exciting. It couldn't be not exciting. It couldn't be not world-shaking. Whether it was Sakura or Wu Minglong, when they saw the battle between the two, their hearts jumped. The first thought in their minds was to escape. However, when this thought appeared, it was already too late. Lin Rei's martial god stratagem was within the range of Lin Rei's attack, and Wu Minglong and Sakura were undoubtedly within the range of stratagem martial god's attack. Lin Rei, are you trying to kill us? The aura of death surged around him, and his cultivation was inexplicably isolated by some kind of energy. His heart was filled with bitterness as he shouted at Lin Rei. Facing such a terrifying attack, in addition to the fact that their cultivation was inexplicably suppressed, if they didn't escape, then there was only one outcome waiting for the two of them: death. Hey, don't panic. Hearing Sakura shout behind him, Lin Rei was stunned. Only then did he realize that his stratagem had enveloped the two of them. Even so, Lin Rei didn't expect to be in such a state. If he could still turn back, then the result would be obvious. Reverse. Reverse, in martial god stratagem, was a secret technique that didn't care about one's life. As for its use, of course, it was to transfer a portion of your energy. Perhaps the creator of martial god stratagem had thought that this stratagem might accidentally injure one's companions or friends. Hurry up and leave. Activating the word reverse, the space that was originally enveloping Sakura's martial god stratagem began to loosen, and the suppression of their cultivation also disappeared. After receiving Linley's order, Sakura didn't hesitate. At this moment, how could he dare to be slow? His figure flashed, and he didn't care about the previous injuries. His figure flashed, and he used all the strength he could use at this moment to strengthen his feet and footwork. His entire body seemed to have been injected with hormones, and his speed instantly increased to the maximum, rushing out of the range of martial god stratagem. As for Wu Minglong, Lin Rei didn't care about him at all. After all, he had wanted to kill him before. If it wasn't for Ling Long, Wu Minglong wouldn't be standing here right now. Pooh! A mouthful of scarlet blood sprayed out from Lin Rei's mouth. His complexion turned even paler, and his entire person seemed to have become dispirited. I really didn't expect that at this juncture you would still dare to use your secret technique. Tell me, if you don't die, who will? Kongsher said sarcastically. That's right, at this moment, Lin Rei's condition was much worse than before. There was no other reason than the reverse art would definitely cause him to be injured. Of course, it was fortunate that Lin Rei had only used a small portion of the reverse art, less than 5% of the original secret technique. Otherwise, Lin Rei would have been worn down by the reverse art even before the battle with Kongsher. Cut the crap. We still don't know who will win and who will lose. Don't forget that your current situation isn't very good either. After saying that, the spear in Yishuan's hand sped up and instantly arrived in front of Kongsher. Yishuan did not show any mercy. The dragon spear was filled with tyrannical aura and directly smashed into Kongsher's body. Bang! With a muffled sound, the spatial energy that had covered Kongsher's body instantly shattered and dissipated into nothingness. Whoosh! A black shadow flashed and finally rushed towards the beginning of the spatial fold. Bastard, are you trying to kill me? Looking at the black hole behind him, Lin Rei did not dare to go because he understood what that black hole represented. In the endless void, there were all kinds of demon beasts. What kind of demon beasts were there? Those were all lies. Those powerful demon beasts that disappeared in the Desolate Era could basically be seen in the spatial fold. Their strength was terrifying. That's right. Looking at Kongsher, Lin Rei said in surprise, but it's a pity that there's no gift. You. Looking at the smile on Lin Rei's face, Kong Shi's heart trembled, and his face became very ugly. He understood that he had encountered a madman who did not care about his life. He knew about the demon beasts in the spatial fold. At the same time, he also knew that he had to be very careful when opening the spatial fold. Otherwise, if he was sucked in, the consequences would be unimaginable. Feeling that his body was about to be sucked into the black hole, Kong Shi became anxious. The spatial energy in his body was released as if it was free of charge. After wrapping his body, he used the spatial energy to the side. He wanted to assimilate this spatial fold and become something that he could control. Seeing Kong Shi taking action, Lin Rei's heart was a little excited. He longed for this kind of thing because it meant that Kong Shi was serious. Come, let me see how strong you are. Let me see why your spatial energy is called an emperor. After saying that, Yi Xuan's figure quickly burst out with his long spear in front of his chest. A ruthless look appeared on his face. Bastard, bastard. Looking at Lin Rei's actions, Kong Shi felt that this person in front of him could no longer be considered human because his actions were crazier than a demon beast. Heh, I don't like people who move their mouths. Moreover, you will die miserably like this. Strategy of the martial god, Gale, stab. The third style of the strategy of the martial god. This was the first time Lin Rei used it since he started practicing the strategy of the martial god. This was because none of the enemies he encountered before were able to force Lin Rei to use it. They weren't worthy and didn't have the strength to do so. Rumble. At this moment, the originally clear sky suddenly turned into dark clouds that shrouded the entire sky above Lin Rei's head. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled unceasingly. The surrounding temperature dropped to freezing point when Lin Rei used the third style of the strategy of the martial god. A cold wind instantly swept through the space. Assassination, Lin Rei shouted in his heart. When the tip of the long spear was aimed at the sky, its speed was twice as fast as before. The moment Lin Rei rushed forward, the spiritual energy in the space that was sealed by the strategy of the martial god condensed on its own and turned into the shape of a dragon spear. When the tip of the spear was aimed at the sky, it quickly rushed forward. This scene fell into the eyes of the crowd. The aura of fear and death was so sharp that it was suffocating. Empty shield. Feeling the aura of death approaching, Kong Shi no longer hid his strength. The power of space quickly gushed out from his body. A powerful and mysterious shield appeared around him. Looking at Lin Rei, Kong Shi's expression was full of admiration. However, in the depths of his admiration, there was a trace of fear. However, this trace of fear was hidden very well and wasn't discovered. Boy, you are very strong. If you were born in the Desolation era, I would probably beat someone like you. However, it is a pity that you were born in the wrong era. Therefore, you will eventually be drowned by time. Lin Rei didn't speak. At this moment, all his attention was focused on attacking. He didn't think about anything else and didn't want to think about it. Haha, come on. Since you want to play, let me play with you. As he spoke, a mysterious hairstyle continuously shot out. Waves of strange energy appeared within a radius of 100 miles. The moment the surrounding strange phenomenon occurred, Lin Rei felt something. However, in the next moment, it disappeared without a trace. Lin Rei didn't care too much about it. Bang! In the end, the long spear collided with the shield around Kong Shi. However, a scene that shocked Lin Rei appeared. The chaotic dragon spear left a mark on the mysterious shield. However, the other long spears formed by spiritual energy all shattered and disappeared the moment they collided with the shield. How is it? My empty shield is not bad, right? Perhaps sensing Lin Rei's shock, Kong Shi said proudly. That's it. Then, he quickly pulled away and prepared to attack again. However, at this moment, Kong Shi moved. Come on, I will show you something interesting. I guarantee that you will have fun. What? Lin Rei was slightly puzzled. In the next moment, the surrounding space disappeared and was replaced by a familiar scene. Lin Ray had imagined this scene many times. I am pregnant. What? Jean Ling's voice was very soft, so Lin Yu didn't hear her clearly. I said I am pregnant. This time, Lin Li heard it clearly. When he heard that he was going to have a child, he was incomparably excited. And then, hugging the golden bell, he spun around in circles while raising his head and howling into the sky. Ha ha! I'm going to have a son. I'm going to be a father. I'm going to have a son. Looking at the happy expression on her husband's face when he heard that she was pregnant, Jean Ling was very happy. All right, Ling, I will prepare some food for pregnant women in the next few days. Also, try not to move around. If you can sit, don't stand. If you can lie down, don't sit. In short, during this period of time, you must eat well and wear warm clothes. Try not to go out. Oh no, don't go out away from me. Understand? You're not alone now. We're going to have a child. Looking at her husband's nervous expression, Jean Ling couldn't help but smile, because this was the first time she saw her husband so nervous. All right, lie down for a while. I will go out first. Don't cook. Although I am not as good at cooking as you, before you give birth to the child, I will take care of everything in the house, including cooking. Lin Ray didn't listen to Jean Ling's rebuttal and walked out. Before he went out, he locked the door and scattered some repellent medicine on the door. This time, Lin Ray went to a place where there were no wild beasts and not in the mountains. Now that Jean Ling was pregnant, it wouldn't be good for her to live in the mountains. So, Lin Ray prepared to build a house in that place. Just like that, Lin Yu left early and returned late every day. Every time before he went out, he would prepare a lot of delicious food for Jean Ling and pick some fresh fruit from the surroundings. Just like that, day after day passed. Jean Ling's belly grew bigger day by day. The house that Lin Yu built outside was finally completed today after 5 months. Looking at the house in front of her, which she had spent 5 months building, Lin Yu was quite satisfied. There was a table, chairs, a place to cook, and even a bed. Lin Yu had built a big bed. There were all kinds of fur on it. I wonder if Jean Ling will be surprised when she sees this house. Saying that, Lin Yu returned home. After walking for a few kilometers with Jean Ling in his arms, he arrived at the place that he was going to live in. But along the way, Lin Yu covered Jean Ling's eyes with a piece of cloth, so Jean Ling was completely unaware of the situation. Ling, next, I will show you the place that your husband has worked hard to build for the past few months. I guarantee that you will like it after seeing it. Saying that, Lin Yu placed Jean Ling on the ground. After taking off the cloth, Jean Ling's shriek echoed far away. Hubby, this is the home that you have worked hard to build for the past 5 months? At this moment, Jean Ling was so touched that tears rolled down her cheeks. Seeing this scene, Lin Yu quickly stopped Jean Ling. You can't cry now? Besides, you can't be too agitated. Otherwise, it won't be good for the fetus. Yes, I know. I just feel sorry for hubby. I feel sorry for you for leaving early and returning late every day for the past 5 months. Saying that, Jean Ling snuggled into Lin Yu's embrace and stared at Lin Yu with a doting gaze as though she didn't want to shift her gaze away for a moment. All right. Actually, I found this place long ago. But back then, I wanted you to live here after you were pregnant. I didn't expect it to be so fast. Sigh, I didn't think it through. Hubby, thank you. I have no other request to be your woman in this life. The familiar and nostalgic scene in his heart appeared. Lin Li remembered that this was when he was in Shui Qin village. When Jean Ling left home and got pregnant with a child for him, he remembered very clearly. At that time, Jean Ling was very happy. Unfortunately, he had only lived there for less than 6 or 7 years, and his memory had recovered. If it weren't for the demonic beast back then, he would probably still be an ordinary hunter in Shui Qin village. Every day, he would hunt and go home to spend the rest of his life with his wife. The appearance of this scene made Lin Ray completely sink into it. Perhaps it was because of the guilt in his heart, or perhaps it was because of the longing for his wife, Jean Ling, and son that he didn't want to wake up. In the outside world, Kong Shi was surprised to see Lin Ray's phenomenon in the space. He didn't expect Lin Ray to fall so quickly. After all, The strength that Lin Ray displayed was too powerful. However, this scene greatly exceeded Kong Shi's expectations. Illusory Sky is indeed powerful. Although this is only the illusory dragon I saw, if I can cultivate Illusory Sky to a high level, then maybe even Hong Jun will fall. Thinking about it, his face was full of excitement. Thinking of his current situation, Kong Shi felt the urgency of time. Because he had used his power this time, maybe Hong Jun had already sensed it and sent someone down. In the Illusory Sky, Lin Ray sat in front of his wife. Jean Ling looking at her warm and comfortable smile, Lin Ray couldn't help but say, "Ling, long time no see." Long time no see? Hearing Lin Ray's words, Jean Ling frowned and a hint of confusion flashed. "Hubby, haven't we always seen each other? How can you say that it's been a long time?" "Yes, we see each other every day. How can we say that it's been a long time?" A touch of tenderness flashed. At this moment, Lin Ray seemed to have completely forgotten his current situation and that he was still fighting with Kong Shi just now. Chapter 980. In the illusory space, Linley had completely lost himself. He had lost track of where he was. At this moment, all he knew was love. All he knew was that his wife was still alive by his side and that his first child was about to be born. This was very exciting for Lin Ray in the Illusory Sky. Perhaps it was the guilt in his heart towards Jean Ling and her child that made Lin Ray sink deeper and deeper, making him forget everything. Not outside the range of the Illusory Sky, Ying, Bing, and Tian Ning were standing together. Looking at Lin Ray in the Illusory Sky and seeing their husband, Lin Ray, in such a state, they were filled with worry. Especially Ying and Tian. As Lin Ray's wives, they understood the importance of Jean Ling in Lin Ray's heart. Now that the Illusory Sky had appeared, the thing they were most afraid of had happened. What should we do? If husband continues to be immersed in the memories of the past, then, the more Bing looked, the more anxious he was. He didn't want to see his husband so immersed in the memories. Sigh. At the side, Ying sighed. Her face was filled with helplessness. Her heart was filled with helplessness. She understood Bing's thoughts, but there was nothing she could do. Although she didn't know what the Illusory Sky was, if it could make Lin Ray like this, then she might not be able to return. At that time, her husband wouldn't be able to come out and she would be trapped. If that was the case, then there would be even less hope to save Lin Ray. She didn't want this to happen, nor did she want to see it. As if thinking of something, Ying turned to look at Tian Ning and Tian Shu Rabbit. Both Ying and Bing knew their identities. Thinking that they were both origin energy, a ray of hope flashed in their eyes. Feeling Ying's expectant gaze, Tian Ning understood what Ying was thinking, but I'm really sorry. I can't help you with this. It's not that I don't want to help, but I really can't. Looking at Ying, Tian Ning's expression didn't change at all. We are both origin energy, but you also know that Tian Shu Rabbit and I have the same origin energy. Now, we are separated. But even if we are not separated, this is the first time we have seen such a secret technique of space origin energy. Moreover, our insignificant strength is really not elegant. This, seeing Tian Ning refuse, Ying didn't say anything more. She could feel that Tian Ning wasn't lying to her. This might be true, but when she thought about how her husband was trapped in an illusion, her heart was filled with anxiety. As for this scene, Lin Ray naturally didn't know. At this moment, Lin Ray was immersed in the land of warmth and tenderness. Linley cherished his wife so much that he wanted to make up for all the regrets he had in his heart right now. Looking at his busy wife, Lin Ray was stunned and quickly went up to help. He took more of the things in Jean Ling's hands and said with a pained expression, "Linger, how many times have I told you? It's not like you don't know that your body isn't suitable for doing these things right now. Just leave these things to me." As he spoke, he hurriedly turned around, bent over, and began to work. Most likely, if an outsider were to see this, they would be stupefied. Even Wooming Dragon, upon seeing how gentle Linley was extremely shocked. Even Di Shirtian was the same. Although he was Lin Ray's clone, he had never experienced Jean Ling's matters. Regarding this, Lin Ray also didn't pass the information about Jean Ling into his clone's mind. In the illusory sky, looking at her husband's busy figure, Jean Ling's heart was filled with happiness. Looking at her busy husband, she reached out and touched her bulging belly subconsciously and said to herself, "Sigh, child, hurry up and come out. Look at your father, he's been too tired recently." Just like this, time passed quickly. Lin Ray brought Jean Ling to live in the new house. As usual, Lin Ray went out to hunt, gather herbs, and then came back to help Jean Ling cook. Every time he returned home, he would see his wife, Jean Ling, waiting for him. Lin Ray had said this many times, but the final result was always evaded by Jean Ling. However, he would continue the next time. In the end, Lin Ray gave up because he understood his wife's thoughts. In the blink of an eye, a few months had passed. Today was a special day because just when Lin Ray was about to go out to hunt, Jean Ling suddenly said that her stomach hurt. Thinking about the date, he understood that his wife was about to give birth. In the room, Yi Jingjing's painful cries were constantly heard. His voice was filled with fatigue. No, husband, it hurts so much. In this environment, without a midwife, Lin Ray could only do it himself because he felt that it would be better to have him by her side. Besides, this way, he could also witness the birth of his child. Linger, do your best. Believe in yourself. Think about how the child will look when he grows up. Think about how the child will look when he marries his wife. Think about how we will look when we are old and hug each other to watch the sunset. Think about more beautiful things. This might bring you strength. Besides, you still have me. You still have me by your side. Let's work harder, and our child will be born. Let's work harder. Looking at his wife's pale face and drenched in cold sweat, Lin Ray's heart ached. He would rather be the one in pain at this moment. It was a pity that he couldn't take over the birth of the child. Otherwise, he wouldn't hesitate to do it. Husband, I'm in so much pain. Husband, The sound of the private room rang out. Time passed quietly along with Jean Ling's painful cries. Finally, under Jean Ling's efforts, the child was born. Wah! A loud baby's cry spread out from the room. The sound was so loud that it could be heard clearly. As for Jean Ling, perhaps it was because she was too tired after giving birth. After giving birth, she fell into a deep sleep. Her face was relaxed, but her brows were tightly knitted. Sigh, Linger, it's been hard on you. You even gave birth to a son for me. Looking at the little fellow in his arms, Linley had already decided that the child's name should follow his mother's surname. There was no other reason other than the fact that he had seen the hardships his wife had gone through in Jinling. Child, look at your mother's difficulties. From now on, your surname will be Jean and your name will be Yin. It means that you have to be grateful to your mother. As a father, I don't ask you to be very promising, as long as you can repay your mother for the pain when she gave birth to you. With that, Lin Ray placed the child on Jean Ling's body. He turned around and put away all the miscellaneous things in the room. The room looked brand new, which made Lin Ray slightly satisfied. Looking at his wife sleeping soundly on the bed, Lin Ray smiled and came to her side. He quietly waited by their side and did not leave even half a step. For some reason, Lin Ray fell asleep. The next day, Lin Ray woke up leisurely. Looking at his wife who was still in a deep sleep, he smiled and went out to cook. Jean Ling woke up at some point. My child. Thinking of the child, Jean Ling quickly lowered her head. When she saw the child at the side, she felt relieved. Looking at the child in her arms, the crystallization of love with the person she loved, Jean Ling smiled happily. At this moment, Lin Ray walked in from outside. Looking at the aura on the bed that had woken up, Lin Ray smiled and said, "You're awake. Why don't you sleep for a while?" "I can't sleep." Looking at her husband and the little guy in her arms, she said, "Husband, have you given this child a name?" I've already named him." Looking at Jean Ling's appearance, Lin Ray could not help but say the child's name. "I named him Jean on." "What? Jean In?" "No, husband. How can he take my surname?" "No, this can't happen." When she heard that her husband had actually named the child, she resisted for a moment. Although Jean Ling was a little happy when she heard the name, this name was absolutely unacceptable. Stop fighting, Linger. I called him Jinan because I saw the pain you went through when you gave birth to him. I want him to remember the pain you went through when you gave birth to him when he grows up. I don't want him to forget how difficult it was for you to give birth to him. So, Linger, listen to me now. After saying that, Lin Yu took the child over and brought the hot food in front of Jean Ling to let her eat. Husband, why don't you let me see the child again? I still want to see it. If you like this, I'll be angry. Let's do as I say. Let's eat first. It's not like we can't see the child after that. When the child is out of confinement, we'll take him back to see your grandfather and let your grandfather know that you're a mother now. Besides, you haven't been back for the past year. I miss Grandpa too. Hearing Lin Yu's words, Jean Ling's eyes revealed a sad look. This scene made Lin Yu unable to help but walk to Jean Ling's side and hug her, comforting her. It's okay, it's okay. When you're out of confinement, we'll go. If you want, you can live there in the future. Besides, this place is quite close to Shuaikin village. Yes, I'll listen to you, husband. Whatever you say. With that, Jean Ling picked up the food that Lin Yu brought over and began to eat. Although she hadn't eaten for a day, when she ate, she was still so slow and graceful. Time was a law that couldn't be grasped or touched. Day by day, it had been more than 100 days since Jean Ling gave birth to the child, and Jinan could also call his father and mother. This made Lin Yu and Jean Ling happy dozens of times, especially Lin Yu, who now urgently needed to cook for Jean Ling and play with Jean in every day. Every day, her life was full. When she had nothing to do, she went out to hunt. When she hunted, she would hunt nearly 100 pounds of meat and wild fruits. Every day, she fed Jean Ling and Jean In until they were full. As for Jean Ling, she originally thought that after she gave birth to the child, she could cook for her husband and child, but she didn't expect that things were completely different from what she imagined. After giving birth, Lin Yu became even worse. When she had the child, although she could only sit on the bed, she could still do some work. Now, Lin Yu didn't let her have a good time. She would even cook for her every meal. In this year, Lin Yu's cooking skills were completely developed. Every day, there would be meat in the pot. This made Jean Ling almost want to escape from Lin Yu's clutches after giving birth. But in the end, she could only compromise. In the outside world, watching Lin Ray sink deeper and deeper, the happiest person was Kong Shi. He really didn't expect that his elementary illusory space would be so strong. Bastard, who told you to treat me like that before? After saying that, Kong Shi looked at his miserable appearance, and suddenly, a trace of anger rose in his heart. Lin Ray, in the distance, feeling that Lin Ray was in a dangerous state, Sakura called out softly. Although at this moment, Lin Ray had a smile on his face, as the clone of Lin Ray, Sakura was very clear that Lin Ray was in danger at this moment. If he didn't get rid of him as soon as possible, the final result would only be death. What should we do? Now that Lin Ray is bound, what about us? Just when Sakura was anxious, Wooming Dragon's voice appeared. What else can we do? If you have the ability, then go. Sakura was speechless towards Wooming Dragon. Forget it. I'm not even as strong as you. Why would I go? I'm just going to fill up the numbers. With a fake smile, Wooming Dragon said, and then left in a flash. However, at this moment, no one noticed that in the Dragon Clan's sacred land, a young man in the water had stopped. His deep eyes seemed to be able to see through everything as he looked at the entrance of the Dragon Clan. A strange smile appeared on his face. Space Origin, I didn't expect that there would be such a lively scene here. Slaughter Origin, Space Origin, 9 Azure Dragons, Qilin Clan, and that fellow who possesses a special bloodline. Could it be that the world has changed? Is there a problem with the Tendo or the Great Tao? Why would all these powerful things gather in the divine world? Oh, suddenly, a dragon roar came from the sky. Regarding this, the young man who was originally thinking about something trembled and quickly said, I say, why don't we make a deal? I will save your master and you will let me go. How about? Although the 9 azure dragons were dragon souls, they still possessed the ability to distinguish and understand. Furthermore, they could also sense that Lin Ray was in a very dangerous illusion. They were also very anxious. However, due to the order that Lin Ray had given them earlier, they had no choice but to obey. Oh, Space Origin, you've got me again. A deep and powerful voice sounded in the young man's ears. This young man was none other than the blood-chilling Blood Lotus. Holy shit, you can talk? Blood Lotus was certain that the one who had spoken earlier was the azure dragon above his head. That was because there was no one else here. Enough with the nonsense. Can't you just give me a straightforward answer? If you can go out now. If you can't, you can wait here obediently. As for the Space Origin, if he dares to act impudently, you don't mind teaching him a lesson. Although this doesn't conform to the rules, for the sake of Master's safety, we can't care too much. That's right. Even if we have to die, we cannot allow him to harm Master. At that moment, the azure dragons, who usually didn't speak, began to discuss in the human language. Hearing this, the Blood Chelan was even more shocked. He hadn't expected the 9 azure dragons, who had accompanied him for so long, to be able to speak. Chapter 981. Yes, that's right. Your master is in trouble right now, so you should go help him instead of watching over me. Although he was surprised that the 9 azure dragons could speak, he would be an idiot if he didn't run now that such a good opportunity had presented itself. He didn't want to stay in this stream forever. If word of this reached the ears of those old fellows, how would he be able to survive as a blood Chelan? Yes, you're right. Hearing Shuel Yin's words, the leading azure dragon nodded. However, Master said to watch over you. Thinking about this, the leader of the blue dragons turned to the rest of the blue dragons and said, "How about this? Old 6, Old 7, Old 8, Old 9, you 4 stay here and watch him. Don't let him run away. Otherwise, Master will punish you when he escapes." As for us, a murderous aura surged. We'll go save Master. Although we don't know if we'll succeed, if we self-destruct, I believe that even that lousy space won't be able to withstand it and will collapse. Then, it'll be much easier for Master to escape. After making up his mind, a look of determination flashed across the azure dragon's eyes. Seeing this, Shuel Yin in the stream was stunned. His expression was full of admiration. I didn't think that the azure dragons would go to such lengths for a human. The ancestors of the dragon clan are actually willing to self-destruct for a human. I really don't know what's so good about this human to be able to make 9 azure dragons pledge their loyalty to him. Furthermore, they're all so loyal, Shuel Yin muttered to herself as she looked at the azure dragons. Yes, big brother, you guys go. Keep an eye on these guys. You have to save Master. F***CK, no way. You guys still haven't forgotten about me? You guys are too vicious. Shuel Yin's expression changed. He didn't think that the azure dragons would still not let him go at this point. Of course, the azure dragon understood Shuel Yin's thoughts. We don't dare to disobey Master's orders. Although you reminded us, it's not enough for us to disobey Master's orders, so give up. With us watching you, you won't be able to escape. He sneered at Blood Lotus and continued, "Fuck, you should save your energy and work hard to accomplish your goal. Only then will you be truly free." Then, without waiting for Blood Lotus's response, he looked at the dragons at the side. The dragons nodded in unison. Then, the 5 dragons left the army and rushed toward the entrance of the dragon clan. F***CK, you guys are ruthless too. Looking at the remaining 4 azure dragons, Blood Lotus wanted to cry. He did not expect the azure dragons to be so sneaky. Looking at them, the Blood Chelan smiled bitterly and shook its head helplessly. It wanted to leave, but it didn't have the ability to do so. In the illusory sky, Lin Ray was quite satisfied at this moment. He had no idea what was happening in the stream outside. At this moment, he was living with his wife and children. Looking at his wife and son, Lin Ray's face was filled with a blissful smile. "It's good that you're busy. I've already satisfied you. I don't have any other requests. However, just as Lin Ray was enjoying this kind of life, the scenery in front of him suddenly changed. Palaces lined up one after another. They were actually so majestic that it was shocking. However, the scene at this moment was very suffocating. A middle-aged man was in the air. In front of the middle-aged man stood two women. The two women were in a sorry state. The corners of their mouths, faces, and bodies were stained with blood. Lin Ray knew these two women. They were none other than his wife, Jean Ling. The other person was naturally his subordinate, Bing, who was summoned from the blanket. Ow! How can this be? Where is this place? Why does it feel so familiar? But I can't remember where this is. Looking at the scene in front of him, Lin Ray could not help but ask, Me? Me? Why would I say me? The strange way of addressing made Lin Ray even more confused. Sister Jinling, are you all right? At this moment, a cry of surprise came from the sky. Ling, what's wrong with you? Don't scare me. Being awakened by the cry, the scene in Jean Ling's hand fell into his eyes. Suddenly, Lin Ray did not care about anything else and directly rushed up. However, just as Lin Ray reached out to touch Jean Ling, his hand directly swept across Jean Ling's face. It was as if the Jean Ling in front of him at this moment was an illusion, ethereal and illusory. How could this be? He did not understand why. Other than being anxious, Lin Ray could only watch things happen. Looking at the unconscious Jean Ling, Bing was completely enraged. However, seeing Jean Ling like this, Bing did not lose his mind. A pure immortal spirit chi was transmitted into Jean Ling's body. He wanted to use his immortal spirit chi to heal Jean Ling's previous injuries. The immortal spirit chi continued to be transmitted. Soon, Jean Ling's face was not as pale as before. Luckily, the injuries from before did not harm her core. If not, no matter how much immortal spirit chi I have, it would be useless. However, what Bing did not know was that her actions were inadvertently seen by the Heaven and Earth Sect leader who was in the sky. Immediately, an idea appeared in his mind. To catch bandits, first catch the ringleader. Since you all want to resist to the end, don't blame me. Whoosh! Instantly, the Heaven and Earth Sect leader took the initiative. As the leader of a sect, he had some skills. His speed was extremely fast, and in an instant, he appeared beside Bing. With a bang, Bing was instantly sent flying by the Heaven and Earth Sect's Heaven and Earth path. Naturally, Jean Ling was snatched away by Heaven and Earth path. Things happened too suddenly, and at this moment, Bing's attention was all on Jean Ling. He did not notice Heaven and Earth path's strange movements at all, which was why he fell into his trap. Pooh! Bing spat out a mouthful of blood as he was sent flying. Instantly, Bing's face turned pale. This did not seem like much, but in reality, Bing was severely injured. Plop, plop. After flying 100 meters, Bing landed on the ground and rolled one round before coming to a stop. You. Looking at Jean Ling, who had been snatched away, Bing could only endure. After all, Jean Ling was the backbone of a sect, and she was Lin Ray's wife. He could not let her be threatened. Old man, you are the leader of a sect. How could you attack the Emperor so shamelessly? How shameful. Bing had no choice. In order to prevent Jean Ling from being threatened, he could only do this. Stop pretending. Lin Ray's wife is in my hands. Tell me, what should you all do? After speaking, Heaven and Earth Sect leader grabbed Jean Ling's neck and used his cultivation to remind the Xuanzong Sect members, all of you stop. Your sect leader's wife is in my hands. Put down your weapons, and I will let you all go. Otherwise, I don't know what will happen. As he spoke, Heaven and Earth Sect leader's hand tightened around Jean Ling's neck. A painful expression flashed across Jean Ling's face, but she did not scream. Bastard, stop it. Stop it right now. Otherwise, I won't be able to make up for the hatred in my heart, even if I exterminate your 9 generations. At this moment, Linley, who was watching this scene, couldn't bear it any longer. Seeing his wife being captured by the Tao of Heaven and Earth, how could he, like Montgomery, endure this? However, Lin Ray could not stop all of this. At this moment, he could only let the situation develop without being able to do anything. He raised his head, suppressed the killing intent in his heart, and continued to watch. At this moment, Heaven and Earth Sect leader's method was still effective. Sure enough, after hearing Heaven and Earth Sect leader's voice, all the Xuanzong Sect disciples stopped their weapons and looked up at Heaven and Earth Sect leader. Everyone's face was full of anger. "Quick, let my mother go, or I will kill all of you." Mother? Could he be in her? Looking at the young man who suddenly appeared, Lin Ray could not help but take a few more glances. At this moment, Jinin, who was in the crowd, saw that his mother was captured. He was instantly flustered. He rushed up to the sky and roared at the crowd. The killing intent in his eyes was very chilling. Looking at those eyes that could devour people, everyone was stunned. Quick, enter, quick. Go back, don't worry about me." Looking at her son, Jean Ling instantly panicked. At this moment, her son stood out and was undoubtedly regarded as a target of public criticism. At the heart of the storm, it would be very dangerous. This was not what she, as a mother, wanted to see. However, the more she did not want something to happen, the more it always happened. TSK, Lin Ray's son. Since this is the case, I will kill him first and let all of you know that Heaven and Earth Sect leader is definitely a man of his word. With a whoosh, while everyone was in a daze, a cold light at the speed of light appeared in front of Jinan's chest in an instant. Without any hesitation, it directly pierced through Jinan's body. Don't! A furious roar came out of Jinling's mouth. Unfortunately, it was too late. At this moment, there was a hole in Jinan's chest. Blood slowly flowed out from it. Killed. Simple and decisive. Ruthless and dignified. Everyone was dumbfounded. They did not expect Heaven and Earth Sect to be so shameless as to use someone else's wife as a bargaining chip to win. They did not dare to agree with this. A blood-curdling scream came out from Jinling's mouth. Tears flowed from her eyes without any regard for her life. However, these tears were not colorless, but blood-red. Yes, it was blood. Watching her son die in front of her and being powerless to do anything. This was such a heart-wrenching thing. Bastard, you actually want to kill my son. Your sin is unforgivable. You deserve to die 1,000 times. This exalted is going to exterminate you. Generations of men will be enough. Generations of women will become prostitutes. I want your ancestors to suffer this torture for generations. I want you to personally witness your descendants being exterminated because of you. My son, a hoarse, furious roar came out from Linley's mouth. Seeing his own son die in front of him, as a father, how could he bear it? He was filled with regret. He was filled with hatred. But at this moment, he felt so helpless. On the other side, a painful cry came out from Jinling's mouth. Her voice was so cold that it made one's teeth turn cold. Jinling's hoarse voice sent chills down everyone's spine. They even felt as if their bodies were frozen. Their entire bodies were fixed on the spot. Plop! Looking at Jinling, who was choked by the heaven and earth path, Bing's eyes were filled with guilt. He came back to the ground with tears flowing down his face. He said to Jean, "I'm sorry. I'm useless. I couldn't protect young master's comfort. I'm sorry." Bing's actions stunned everyone. They didn't understand, but Jinling did understand what Bing meant. Ha! She laughed. After hearing Bing's words, Jinling laughed. However, no one present wanted to hear such laughter a second time, because such laughter made them feel cold all over, especially that bone-chilling cold. It was as cold and heartless as 10,000-year-old ice. Get up. It's not your fault. The fault lies in the fact that these people deserve to be killed, but no one can stop them. I'm laughing because I can't see them being buried with my angry mother and son. I'm laughing because my son is dead, but my Lin family is not without descendants. I'm laughing even more at this group of inhumane bastards. Words that made everyone ashamed came out of Jinling's mouth. However, Everyone could tell that she was joking because they all knew that when a person said something before they died, 90% of them were true. Especially when they looked at Jean Ling's heartless and cold face, it made everyone feel that what she said was true. All of you, just you wait. Someone will definitely avenge my mother and son. Don't worry, my mother and son will definitely walk very slowly on the Nine Nether path. We will wait for you. Crack. Suddenly, a sound that made one's hair stand on end appeared. After hearing Jean Ling's words, the heaven and earth path directly cut off Jean Ling's hand. This kind of pain appeared on a woman's body. No one would be able to endure it, let alone a woman's. You're too hot-headed. Didn't you want to say it? Since you want to say it, then you're not allowed to faint. Then, this spiritual energy directly sealed the wound on Jean Ling's arm. In an instant, the wound stopped bleeding, but the pain still eroded Jean Ling's will. Crack! Before anyone could react, Jean Ling's other arm disappeared and was replaced by blood gushing out. This scene was so bloody that no one dared to look directly at it. There were even some people who were unwilling to see such a scene. They immediately turned around and sealed their hearing. No, don't. No, don't. You give me. You stop. Give me an assistant. Rumble. Crack. A terrifying energy was brewing in Lin Ray's body. The aura was filled with death, silence, death, and sorrow. As for Linley, who was still standing in place, his eyes were bloodshot and filled with the desire to do battle. His bloodshot eyes stared at the man who had tortured his wife and killed his son. Right now, Linley only had one thought in his mind, and that was to kill. He wanted to kill all those who had threatened his wife. How is this possible? What's going on? In the real world, Kong Shi, who had been feeling smug and pleased with himself, suddenly sensed an aura of annihilation emanating from illusory void. Subconsciously, he looked over, only to see Linley's bloodshot eyes and murderous aura emanating from his entire body. He's possessed. Chapter 982. Husband. Feeling the uneasiness in his heart and the appearance of his wife, Ing was stunned. Tears flowed down his cheeks uncontrollably. Suddenly, a few dragon roars came from afar. How can this be? This aura is... Master. But why did Master turn into a demon? Song Long, who had survived from an unknown time, immediately thought of turning into a demon when he felt the aura of death and killing intent. Lin Ray would not normally emit such an aura. At this moment, everyone was worried. Their faces and hearts were full of worry for Lin Ray. However, what they did not know was that Lin Ray was currently in the illusion of the illusory space, and the illusion was still going on. No. The people of the Xuanzong sect saw that their mistress was humiliated by the heaven and earth path. They looked at Jean Ling, who had lost her arms and was in pain. As disciples of the Xuanzong sect, they were powerless in front of the scene in front of them. In their hearts, this was undoubtedly a very big blow. Even if today passed, it would still be an obstacle to their future cultivation. Heaven and earth path, you old bastard. How dare you bully my mistress in there? Aren't you afraid that my sect leader will destroy your entire sect? At this moment, Ing, who had been with Lin Ray for a long time, could not bear it anymore. He immediately said it out loud, pointing at the heaven and earth path and angrily threatening them. Heaven and earth path, you old bastard, just you wait. Even if you kill my Xuanzong sect today, when my sect leader returns, he will exterminate your sect. At this moment, the people of the Xuanzong sect were no longer afraid of death. They only hoped that the heaven and earth path would give Jean Ling a quick death and not torture her like this. Fellow Taoist heaven and earth, we came here today only to destroy the Xuanzong sect. There is no need to do this. Look at Jean Ling, she is a woman. Isn't it against the righteous path and against your conscience to attack her like this? That's right, Taoist brother. You've gone too far. Damn, you should just end Lin Ray's wife. That's right. Brother Woody's words make sense. Fellow Taoist Qinquan, hurry up and kill them. Let's settle this matter first. There's no need to treat them like this. In the distance, Lin Ray quietly watched this scene. He was no longer as angry as before. At this moment, Lin Ray appeared very calm. The people who came with the heaven and earth path could not bear to watch any longer when they saw how cruel he was. Fortunately, they still had quite a lot of face. After listening to the persuasion of the crowd, the heaven and earth path could only agree. All right, I'll do you a favor today, fellow Taoists. Although he said that, he sneered in his heart. I played enough anyway. It's not bad to do you guys a favor. I'll just treat it as making use of trash. Just you wait. Sooner or later, I'll destroy all of you one by one. When that time comes, I'll make all of you beg for death. Although the heaven and earth path's face was full of smiles, his heart was extremely dark. She was killed. Blood gushed out and fell from the sky like rain. However, when this scene appeared, everyone squinted their eyes. Their pupils constricted and their faces were full of anger. Although the heaven and earth path agreed to kill Jean Ling, they did not say how to do it. However, no one expected the heaven and earth path to be so cruel. Even if she was dead, she did not leave a way out for others. Her head, arms, and legs were all separated. Her death was extremely cruel and unbearable to look at. This scene not only stunned everyone in the Xuanzong sect, but also the various sects that came with the heaven and earth path. They did not expect the heaven and earth path to be so cruel and merciless. They had clearly agreed to give Jean Ling a quick death, but they did not expect this to be the outcome. At this moment, other than the angry voices in the Xuanzong sect, some cultivators stood up to avenge Jean Ling and Jinan. In their hearts, they had already recognized Jean Ling as the mistress of the Xuanzong sect, and Jean had already become the young sect leader of the Xuanzong sect. Now, that two such important people were killed in front of them, how could they bear it? All of you, even if we have to risk our lives today, we will die together with you. Looking at the heaven and earth path, everyone stepped forward bravely, but the result was not satisfactory. Linger, my poor Linger, I finally know how you were killed, and my child. Watching what had just happened, Lin Ray's heart repeated like a movie. It was like a curse engraved in Lin Ray's heart and could not be removed from his mind. I didn't expect that because of my negligence back then, all of you would suffer so much. Tears flowed uncontrollably from his eyes. Well, you can't say that they are tears because the tears that are flowing now are the color of blood. Linger, don't worry. I will definitely find you. Even if I have to go to the ends of the earth, even if I can't find you, I will still find you. Even if I have to travel to every corner of the world, I will not hesitate. Because of you and our son. Katja, it was as if the shackles had been opened. Lin Ray, who was originally full of confusion, seemed to have opened a new door in front of him at this moment, making things that he did not understand suddenly become clear. Rumble, within a radius of 10,000 miles, the spiritual energy rushed uncontrollably into Lin Ray's body. Although Lin Ray was in the illusory space at this moment, this did not affect Lin Ray's absorption of spiritual energy. What? How is this possible? Sensing Lin Ray's strangeness and the strange things happening around him, Kong Shi was stunned. His expression was full of disbelief. Broke through, Dao Fruit Sage. How is this possible? How can he break through in my illusory space? Why is this happening? Seeing Lin Ray break through, Kong Shi was a little panicked. Previously, when Lin Ray was only in the divine venerable realm, he already had such a strong fighting strength. Now that he broke through to the divine venerable realm, his fighting strength was probably, thinking about it, he could not help but shiver. A trace of ruthlessness flashed across his face. No, I can't let him break through like this. If he breaks through, then in the future, thinking about it, his expression became determined. Yes, that's it. Even if it will damage my reputation, I will still strangle you in the cradle today. Raising his hand, a series of mysterious runes appeared in his hand. Not good. He's gonna harm Lin Ray. In the distance, the heavenly pivot rabbit, who had been observing the situation, saw Kong Shi's action and shouted to the two beside him. What? No. For the sake of her husband, even if she could not defeat him, she had to go forward and fight. Oh, whoa! Suddenly a dragon roar came from behind, full of anger. "Thief! How dare you? Huh?" This dragon roar, an angry roar, attracted the attention of everyone present. But everyone had different expressions. Some were excited, some were agitated, and some were confused and frightened. Of course, Ing and the others were excited and agitated. As for the fear, it came from Kong Shi. Song dragon. How could there be such a thing here? How could there be so many inexplicable existences in this small divine world? Fear. At this moment, Kong Shi was very scared. He could feel the wrath of the Song dragon, and he could also feel the Song dragon's cultivation. Originally, one Song dragon was not a big deal. After all, the Song dragon's strength was not that high. But now, there were 5 of them. How could he not be shocked? How could he not be afraid? 5 Song dragons together, this was not a joke. Even if he boasted that he was strong, he was not confident in facing 5 Song dragons. Whoosh, at this moment, the Song dragon appeared in front of Kong Shi. Its bell-sized eyes looked at Kong Shi. Its face was full of anger. "Quickly, let go of my master, and today's matter will be considered as nothing happened. You can leave. However, if you don't want to, then even if we have to stake our old lives, we will still capture you here." So what if you're a spatial source? Did you really think that you would be able to match the power of 5 dragons by yourself? A threat, a naked threat. But Kong Shi did not know what to say in response to such a threat. Damn, I did not expect Lin Rei to be so powerful. He even has such a thing. Wouldn't it be better if he took it out? Why do you have to make himself look like this? Looking at Lin Rei, the heavenly pivot rabbit curled its lips, but the moment it looked at the Song dragon, its eyes were full of fear and vigilance. In the illusion, spiritual energy madly rushed into Lin Rei's body. But at this moment, the blood-red color in Lin Rei's eyes did not fade. Instead, it became more intense. "Kill, kill, kill, kill," Linley spoke in a cold voice. There was no joy, anger, sorrow, or joy on his face. He was extremely calm, so calm that it caused everyone to feel fear. "Revenge, revenge. Kill." Words came out from Lin Rei's mouth one by one. At this moment, he did not know that he was breaking through. The Chaos Dragon Spear appeared in his hand. He raised his head to look at the surrounding space. His expression was stunned, and he subconsciously began to wave the Chaos Dragon Spear in his hand continuously. Powerful battle techniques were displayed in Lin Rei's Chaos Dragon Spear, one after another. Nirvana Spear art, Myriad Sword art, Martial Gods tactics, Dragon Subduing Step, and many other techniques that Lin Rei knew were displayed by Lin Rei at this moment. Boom, rumble. Muffled sounds came out from the illusion space. Kong Shi, as the Lord of the illusion space, sensed the strange movements in the illusion space and went to investigate. Damn, what is this guy doing? Kong Shi was dumbfounded when he saw Lin Rei in the illusion space. Kill, kill, kill. At this moment, Lin Rei was like a sofa machine that did not know exhaustion, bombarding the barrier of the illusion space around him. His hand speed was extremely fast. He did not stop at all. His movements were very smooth. There was not a trace of unfamiliarity. In the system, Little Dragon sensed Lin Rei's current actions. He sighed slightly. Looks like this kid still has not recovered from Jin Ling's death. I did not expect Lin Rei, who has Honglung's sovereign body, to be able to enter the demonic state and even break through in such a state. Interesting. Little Dragon did not have the slightest worry about Lin Rei's current state. It was as if this matter was not a big deal. Rumble, Kacha, under Kong Shi's gaze, Lin Rei waved the Chaos Dragon Spear in his hand and bombarded the barrier of the illusion space tirelessly. Finally, under Lin Rei's unremitting efforts, a crack appeared on the barrier of the illusion space. Kacha, Kacha. Under Lin Rei's continuous bombardment, the crack spread out in all directions like a spider web. At this moment, Kong Shi did not sit still and wait for death. He understood that if Lin Rei came out, then his ending was already set. But when he saw the 5 azure dragons in front of him, Kongsher was stunned. Now it could be said that he was in a dilemma. There was a wolf in front and a tiger behind. If you ride a tiger, it is hard to get off. What should I do? He asked himself in his heart. At this moment, he had no other choice. After all, saving his life was more important. It was not easy to escape from Hongjuan's control. If he really died because of today's matter, it would be too much of a loss. Looking up at the azure dragons, a smile appeared. I will release your master. I will release. With that, a door opened on the other side of the illusion space. You see, I have opened the door. Now, can you fulfill your promise? Hearing Kongsher's words, one of the azure dragons instantly came to the other side of the illusion space. When he saw the door open, a smile appeared on his face. Big brother, there is indeed a door here. If there is no mistake, this should be the exit of the illusion space. When the leader of the azure dragons heard this, his expression became much better. When he looked at the sky, he said coldly, "You're lucky this time. If you're lucky again next time, you won't be able to see me again. Do you know? I understand. As the saying goes, when you meet someone stronger than you could be a grandson at the right time. This is not because you are afraid, but because you want to go further in the future. You can go now." Eager to save his master, he did not want to waste any more time on Kongsher. He waved his hand and dismissed him. "All right, I understand. Everyone, goodbye." Kacha, boom! Just as Kongsher was about to leave, the illusion space that was originally the illusion space was completely shattered. Lin Rei's figure appeared in front of everyone. Kill, kill, kill. Kill them all, avenge my Ling heir." "What? Husband? Master?" Everyone turned to look, and in the instant that they saw Lin Li, all sorts of different voices rang out. But at this moment, Lin Rei did not hear them at all, his blood-red eyes staring at Kongsher, his killing intent soaring to the sky. Kill you. Asterisk whoosh. Asterisk, his figure disappeared. This time everyone was stunned because no one could catch Lin Rei's figure, not even the azure dragons. Kill. A cold voice appeared in front of Kongsher. The moment Lin Rei's voice sounded, the long spear was swung and rushed towards Kongsher's heart. At this moment, Lin Rei could be said to have used 200% of his strength, and the strength of Lin Rei after entering the demonic state was not comparable to before. Empty shield, Kacha. The empty shield wanted to block Lin Rei's long spear, but unfortunately, Kongsher regretted after the long spear fell, because he heard the sound of the empty shield breaking. How is this possible? Chapter 983. At this moment, Lin Rei had completely lost control. He couldn't hear anyone's voice as he directly waved the primal chaos dragon spear in his hand and swept it across Kongsher's body. This time, Kongsher couldn't dodge it. Because of shock, because of fear, the inexplicable trembling in his heart caused his body to become sluggish. Bang! A muffled sound resounded in everyone's ears. A black shadow streaked across the sky and was thrown out of the battle range. 1,000 meters away, that figure formed a parabola and fell from the sky in a very sorry state. Bang! Bang! Even so, he didn't stop falling immediately. Instead, he rolled for a few dozen meters again. No one knew if he stopped himself or if he was forcefully stopped, but at least he stopped. At this moment, everyone finally saw the true face of the figure that flew out. Ing, who was originally full of worry, heaved a sigh of relief when everyone saw the black shadow. For no other reason than the fact that the person who had been sent flying was not Lin Li, but Kongsher. This guy. Looking at Kongsher, who was lying 1,000 meters away, Dubhe Rabbit exclaimed. Her eyes involuntarily swept over Lin Rei. At this moment, her impression of Lin Rei was refreshed in her heart. To be able to send a space origin flying as a Hierarch Realm expert, this was no longer a question of whether Lin Rei was strong or not. This was too shocking. Even if her original body was the Slaughter origin, she had never seen such a powerful thing. This guy can create miracles for us every time. As Lin Rei's clone, it would be a lie to say that he wasn't jealous when he saw how powerful Lin Rei was. But at the same time, Sakura was happy for Lin Ray. However, the current Lin Ray was different from the past. At this moment, his body was surrounded by a shocking killing intent and blood fiend chi. Moreover, his eyes were bloodshot, and he looked like he didn't recognize anyone. Oh, whoa. A beast-like roar came out from Lin Ray's mouth. His face was full of malevolence. Kill! Kill! Whoosh! His figure moved again. This time, Lin Ray's strength was even stronger. His entire body shot towards Kong Shi. His desire to kill was getting stronger and stronger. Bastard! Lying on the ground, Kong Shi felt a sharp pain coming from his abdomen and recovered from his shock. F***CK again. As soon as he came back to his senses, he felt Lin Ray's sinister aura rushing towards him. At this moment, he couldn't care less about the pain in his body. He now clearly understood how strong Lin Ray was. He suddenly stood up and looked at Lin Ray, who was rushing towards him. Space-Time's aura surged, and the power of space appeared. Space-Time's spatial blades were like arms under Space-Time's influence. Oh, whoa! Lin Ray growled as a hint of disdain flashed across his eyes. It was as if these empty blades were completely useless to him. However, that was indeed the case. Lin Ray had no intention of dodging the void blades. He brandished the Chaos Dragon Spear in his hand and continued his assault. As for the void blades that were released in the air, they were all blocked and destroyed by Lin Ray's body. How could this be? This guy's physical body. How could it be so powerful? Oh, whoa! A low growl entered Kong Shi's ears. He looked up and saw Lin Ray in front of him. That sneer on his face was extremely dazzling. Die! He waved his spear, and the shadows of his spear appeared one after another. Tens of thousands of Chaos Dragon Spear shadows appeared and rushed towards Kong Shi without any hesitation. F***CK. At this moment, Kong Shi didn't have the time to think. Although he understood that this level of strength wasn't enough to kill him, it would still hurt. He used the Void Shield again. However, this time, Kong Shi didn't use one, but hundreds of his Void Shield. He didn't believe that he would be defeated by such a thorough defense. Kong Shi's Void Shield was set up in all directions, including Kong Shi's head. Even so, Kong Shi's heart was still beating like a drum. Others might not understand, but he knew very well that Lin Ray was already possessed by the devil. Moreover, he was in the midst of a breakthrough. His aura was at its peak. Kong Shi didn't dare to guarantee that his impregnable defense would be able to hold on. Now, he could only give it a try. There was no other way. The illusory Void Shield was obviously ineffective against Lin Ray. If he wanted to win, he could only rely on his strength. However, he was the Space Origin. All he knew was the space technique. To be honest, he wasn't a combat type at all. It was only because the Space Origin could use space to seal things. Therefore, bam, 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 loud sounds rang out. This time, Lin Ray didn't have the patience from before. He directly rushed forward. At this moment, Lin Ray was only acting instinctively. After all, he was possessed by the devil and didn't think about anything else. Bam! The battle had begun. The two of them exchanged punches and kicks. The battle was very intense. The only thing that could be seen was the afterimages of the two of them colliding. Lin Ray gradually became stronger. The aura of Lin Ray's body also became stronger with the passage of time. The little dragon was very clear about this. Lin Ray was about to break through to the Sage Realm. Originally, the little dragon wanted to let Lin Ray refine the Space Origin so that he could advance to the Sage Realm. He didn't expect that he could gain so much just by fighting with the Space Origin. This was something that the little dragon didn't expect. However, he was worried. After all, Lin Ray was possessed by the devil. If he continued to develop, no one knew what the final result would be. Perhaps he wouldn't be able to advance to the Sage Realm because of this. Now you're worried. Didn't you want to wash your hands of him before? Just when the little dragon felt that the situation was serious, the system's voice rang in the little dragon's ears. The system's words were full of sarcasm. If one listened carefully, they could hear that there was a hint of complaint in the system's words. Yes, it was complaining. After all, It had taken care of Lin Ray for a period of time before. During that time, they got along very well. He wanted to refute, but the system was right. At first, he wanted to wash his hands of him. But now, could he still do it? The answer was of course no. After all, the most important thing now was to restore Lin Ray's consciousness and let him enter seclusion to break through to the sage realm. Let's do it. Lin Ray has been tempered enough. The matter in the divine realm can be considered to have come to an end. As long as Lin Ray can break through to the sage realm, he can communicate with the passage to the holy realm at any time. As for other things, let's wait until Lin Ray enters the holy realm. After all, that's his beginning. It's the real beginning of the path he chose. Alas, yes. The little dragon sighed softly. A hint of hesitation appeared on his face. His heart was very complicated. He wanted to let Lin Ray, his friend, enter the holy realm, but he also didn't want to. Because once Lin Ray entered the holy realm, the matter of the Tao would begin, and the system's real test for him would also begin. At this moment, Lin Ray was completely unaware of the conversation between the system and the little dragon. Otherwise, he would definitely fly into a rage. He would point at their noses and curse. Mother asterisk cur, weren't those things before? Every time you set me up, and now you're telling me that the test has just begun? Are you asterisk king kidding me? The little dragon was quite confident in Lin Ray's thoughts and character. After all, the two of them had lived together for so long. It would be strange if he didn't know. Chapter 984. Right now, Linley was locked in battle with space-time. The two of them seemed to have entered a berserk state, and they didn't know exhaustion as they swung the weapons in their hands and clashed against each other. One streak of sparks after another flashed out in a breathtaking manner. This battle could be said to be earth-shattering. The surrounding mountains were all affected, and even the space where the two of them fought began to show signs of cracking. Both of them were unaware of this and were still in a state of frenzied attack. These two are too ruthless. They're already like this, and yet they're still not done. Looking at the signs of cracking due to the space, Dubhy Rabbit clicked her tongue, and her expression was full of astonishment. It can't be helped. Who asked him to be Lin Ray? Besides, looking at Lin Ray, Sakura smiled and said, he hasn't had such a battle for a long time. Perhaps this is what he wants. In the system, watching Lin Ray fight more and more fiercely, and his consciousness became more and more blurred. At this moment, the little dragon couldn't sit idly by. He couldn't allow Lin Ray to continue like this because the opportunity to break through the Saint realm didn't always exist. If he didn't survive this time, he didn't know when the next time would be. Suppress him. A strange aura suddenly emanated from Lin Ray's body. It wasn't only to suppress Lin Ray and restore his consciousness, but more importantly, to suppress Kong Shi. Although he didn't want to get involved in this matter. After all, Lin Ray didn't say anything. Besides, if he let go of such a good whetstone, wouldn't it be a waste of God's gift? As the little dragon who followed Lin Ray, he had always adhered to Lin Ray's principle of not being extravagant and not being wasteful. What's going on? In everyone's eyes, the battle that had entered a white-hot stage suddenly stopped abruptly. Both of them stopped and stood at one side in a daze. No one moved an inch. Why can't my body move? Others didn't know what was going on, but Kong Shi was very clear. Just as he was fighting with Lin Ray, a terrifying energy appeared, and with a crushing force, he was frozen in the air, unable to move. Of course, other than his eyeballs, everything else was immobilized. However, his cultivation was not sealed. Even so, Kong Shi was powerless. Even though he used all of his cultivation and used all of his strength, the final result was there was no reaction. As for Lin Ray, it was as if he had gone mad. His bloodshot eyes stared at the sky as if he wanted to swallow him alive. You brat, you're always causing trouble for me. In the system, seeing Lin Ray like this, a hint of worry appeared on the little dragon's face. Hee, what you're saying is nonsense. If Lin Ray didn't provoke that person, would he still be Lin Ray? I think so. Thinking about it, along the way with Lin Ray could be said to be causing trouble all the time. In the end, the one who had to clean up after Lin Ray was always him. All right, hurry up. Awaken Lin Ray's consciousness so that he can quickly break through his cultivation and enter the holy world as soon as possible. He can't learn anything here, the system urged. Got it, got it. Lin Ray impatiently replied to the system's words twice. Then, a complicated rune appeared in the little dragon's hand, and it blasted towards Lin Ray's forehead. Ching ling boom. A muffled sound came from Lin Ray's body. The sound was so soft that even Kong Shi, who was very close to Lin Ray, couldn't hear it. Ugh! A low roar came out from Lin Ray's mouth. The murderous aura that was roaming around his body slowly dissipated under Kong Shi's witness. Even the blood in his eyes slowly disappeared, and he finally regained his clarity. Seeing this scene, even killing intent should be able to understand that Lin Ray, who had turned into a demon, had retreated. Huff! Lin Ray let out a long breath, and his heart was filled with lingering fear. At this moment, he had already recovered, and he was very clear about what he had done before. Thinking about what he had done before, he was very shocked. He didn't expect that after he had taken the chaotic heavenly scripture as his own, he would still have an inner demon. Moreover, it was so terrifying. You brat, if you know how to be afraid, then you better behave well in the future. Every time you cause trouble, you hide, and in the end, I have to clean up after you. Really? A little dragon, it's you. Lin Ray understood. After all, if it wasn't for the little dragon, he would probably still become a murderous demon like before. He might even sink deeper and deeper until he was completely consigned to eternal damnation. Nonsense. The little dragon rolled its eyes at Lin Ray, and then its face became serious. Hurry up, let's not talk about this first. Sit down cross-legged and properly feel the opportunity to break through to the sage realm. If you miss this opportunity, it will be a very, very long time before you feel this opportunity again. Pa! Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Ray fiercely slapped his forehead. That's right, I haven't broken through yet. Thinking about this, he didn't say anything. Following Lin Ray's instructions, he sat down cross-legged in the air and began the process of his comprehension. The Tao of heaven and earth, the beginning of all things, the cultivation method of the chaotic heavenly scripture appeared in Lin Ray's mind. The original spirit energy in his body began to undergo a qualitative change as Lin Ray cultivated. It's starting. When the spirit energy reaches the sage realm, it will condense the seed of the Tao fruit. Then it will be a true Tao fruit sage. Yes, as long as Lin Ray condenses the Tao fruit, it won't be a problem for him to break through to the sage realm. After speaking, the two of them tacitly laughed at the same time. However, they didn't laugh so loudly because of Lin Ray. This is the beginning of the breakthrough. In the outside world, seeing Lin Ray suddenly sit down cross-legged, the originally chaotic laws and spirit energy in the surroundings began to calm down the moment Lin Ray sat down. The heavenly pivot rabbit vaguely felt that the power of heaven and earth in the surroundings was slowly gathering towards Lin Ray. Yes, he broke through. At the side, Tian Ning smiled and nodded. I didn't expect Lin Ray to be able to break through in the middle of a battle. It seems like I have underestimated Lin Ray's aptitude and talent. Tisk, he broke through to the sage realm. The happiest people were Sakura and Shadow. It's good that you broke through. This way, you should be able to go to the holy world. A look of longing flashed in Sakura's eyes. He was looking forward to going to the holy world. Husband, seeing that Lin Ray was safe and sound and was about to break through, Shadow and Eyes were very happy. As the saying goes, when one is happy, another is sad. Ing and the others were happy, but Kong Shi was crying. No matter how he thought about it, he could not understand why he was unable to enter the passage. But Linley was not only fine, he was even making a breakthrough. Thinking of this, Kong Shi felt very depressed. At the same time, a trace of worry surged in his heart. This guy was already so strong before. If he breaks through, then wouldn't I In fact, Kong Shi's thoughts were not without reason. After all, Lin Rei was a vengeful person. Chapter 985. Thinking was just thinking. Right now, there was nothing he could do. That powerful pressure was preventing him from moving. Although he didn't know where this pressure was coming from, he knew that it definitely had something to do with Linley. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to so calmly make his breakthrough. This pressure is at least at the level of Dao integration, but it shouldn't be. Only that old man Hong Jun can do it, but the more Kong Shi thought about it, the more surprised he was. He couldn't understand why such a force would appear here and help an ultimate god who was like an ant in his eyes. If the little dragon heard Kong Shi's thoughts at this moment, he would probably snort in disdain because in his eyes, Hong Jun was nothing. It was just like Kong Shi's attitude towards Linley. In Kong Shi's eyes, Linley was no different from an ant. Hong Jun was even more so towards Xiaolong, who was no different from an ant. A middle-aged Taoist was meditating on a cushion in the outer realm of the saint's world. Suddenly, his eyes snapped open, and a wisp of bright light flashed through them. The corners of his mouth curled up into a sneer. Space Origin, I didn't expect you to come to such a low-level realm like the divine world. It seems that I have overestimated you. At this moment, Kong Shi would be very surprised to see the middle-aged Taoist again, because the middle-aged Taoist was Hong Jun. In front of Hong Jun, a young man stood there respectfully, motionless, and behaved very obediently. Master, since the Space Origin has been found, I will send someone to capture him and bring him back to you. No. Hong Jun looked at the young man and smiled. I can feel that the Slaughter Origin is not far from the Space Origin. I think the two of them should be together. If that's the case, even if you send someone, the result will be a fruitless trip. You should know that if the Slaughter Origin and the Space Origin work together, you won't be able to get any benefits even if you go personally. So no, since they want to play, let them play outside for a while. Hearing this, a hint of doubt flashed in the young man's eyes. He didn't understand why his master would do this. Oh, you don't have to worry about this matter. I will deal with it later. A reassuring look was given to the young man. The youth was none other than Hao Tian, who had caused Linley to lose his sight in the 9 underworlds. Indeed, if Linley saw him, he would probably immediately attack and kill him. This youth was none other than Hao Tian, who had caused Linley to lose his sight in the 9 underworlds. Yes, Hao Ian understood that since his master had made a decision, this matter was basically decided and there was no chance to change it. All right, you could go now. I want to... Master, there's one more thing. Just as Hong Jun asked Hao Ian to leave, he finally said something that had been brewing in his heart for a long time. Master, do you remember CF Feng? CF Feng. Hearing this name, Hong Jun frowned, and a familiar feeling surged in his heart. Evil Phoenix, this name sound familiar. She is? The Evil Phoenix, the master of the Phoenix clan, was imprisoned by you back then. However, for some reason, it was released some time ago. Seeing that Hong Jun did not know, Hao Ian hurriedly explained. Oh, master of the Phoenix clan? I didn't think she would be released. A strange look flashed through his eyes. Yes, it was just a while ago, and I can sense that Xie Feng's power is gradually recovering. I believe that before long, perhaps her power will completely recover. When that time comes, she will definitely return to the Saint's world to find you and the Heavenly Court. As Hao Ian's master, Hong Jun naturally knew what he was thinking. Haha, don't worry, Hao Ian. Since I suppressed her back then, I suppressed her. So what if she's free? You're just suppressing her again. Thank you, master. Joy appeared on his face. Others might not know, but he knew very well that if Hong Jun had not helped him back then, the person who would have been suppressed or even killed in the end would have been him. If that had really been the case, there would not have been a powerful force like the Heavenly Court. It's fine. You could go now. Knowing that the haze in Hao Ian's heart had dissipated, Hong Jun waved his hand to dismiss him. Yes, master. I'll take my leave. After bowing respectfully to Hong Jun, Hao Ian turned around and left the space. The moment Hao Ian left, Hong Jun, who was originally calm, suddenly became gloomy. A sinister look appeared on his face. I didn't think that CF Phone would be able to see you again in this life. Back then, you refused to submit to me and caused that incident. At that time, I had no choice but to suppress you. I thought you would disappear in the river of time. I really didn't think that you would be rescued. Should I say that you're lucky or that you're courting death? At this time, Hong Jun was completely different from before. If Hong Jun represented peace and kindness in the past, then Hong Jun now represented killing and evil. But this is also good. Perhaps it's been a long time. It's not bad to see an old friend once in a while. A cold smile appeared on his face. Then he closed his eyes and fell into a daze. He sat up like a stone statue. Master, what are your orders? Not long after Hong Jun sat down, a man wearing a ghost mask appeared in the air. He came before Hong Jun and knelt down respectfully. Go to the divine realm and find out where the space origin and killing origin are. All right. Also, Xiefeng. Since she escaped, we must invite her up to talk about old times. Only in this way can we understand the attitude of one of my few old friends. Hong Jun did not speak. However, in the ghost mask's ears, Hong Jun seemed to have given him an order. Yes, master. But do you want Xiefeng alive or dead? Also, how do I contact you if I find the killing origin and space origin? Whoosh! Just as the ghost mask finished speaking. As soon as he arrived, a flag with the 8 trigrams pattern appeared in front of Ghostface. At the same time, Hong Jun's voice arrived. Universe 8 trigrams pattern. He can manifest my will and find them to activate the 8 trigrams pattern. Then, my will be transmitted back. At that time, I will personally go and greet my old friend. Hearing this, the ghost mask nodded respectfully. Then, he stood up and his figure faded as before. Disobedient. You guys are really disobedient. He sneered in his heart. Those who follow me will prosper, and those who oppose me will die. Don't blame me for being ruthless. My origin of balance does not allow anything that threatens my existence. So, the 2 origins and Xiefeng in the divine realm did not know that their traces were naturally discovered. Moreover, Hong Jun even sent people to the divine realm to investigate. At this moment, the 2 origins and Xiefeng were in their own places and doing their own things. Sakura, I say, what is your original body trying to do? Breaking through to the Saint realm is not something that can be done overnight. If he continues like this, we won't have to wait here forever, right? Not far from the entrance of the Dragon Clan, it had been 100 years since Lin Rei's breakthrough. For such a long time, everyone had been sitting and waiting for Lin Rei to wake up. However, after such a long time, Lin Rei did not show any signs of waking up. Not only Dubby Rabbit thought so, even Sakura could not bear it anymore. Let's wait a little longer. We have already waited for 100 years. What's more, as he said that, his eyes looked at Kong Shi, who had been motionless for 100 years, and said with vigilance, although I don't know why Kong Shi is like this, Lin Rei is at such a critical juncture. If Kong Shi breaks free, then Lin Rei will be finished. Seeing Sakura like this, Dubby Rabbit, who still wanted to say something, didn't say anything in the end. She understood that no matter what she said, the final result would be the same. The conversation between Dubby Rabbit and Sakura did not seem to be taboo to Kong Shi. Their conversation was completely transmitted to Kong Shi's ears. Regarding this, Kong Shi even had the heart to cry. Big brother, big sister, can you guys stop? Can't you see that I can't move now? Really, slander me like this, I can sue you guys, you know? Of course, these words were only in Kong Shi's mind because he couldn't speak, let alone move. What the hell is this thing? It's been 100 years, 100 years. Even if it's a cultivator releasing his pressure like this, aren't you tired? Even if you aren't tired, your spiritual power won't be able to support it. Why is it that after 100 years, the pressure didn't weaken, but instead became more solid? This question had troubled Kong Shi's heart for 100 years, but the final result was that he still couldn't find the answer. As for Lin Rei, Kong Shi had completely given up. Now, He couldn't even protect himself, so why would he care about Lin Ray? It's been 100 years. This kid might not have broken through. In the system, Little Dragon, who had been paying close attention to Lin Ray's state, muttered in his heart. Yes, indeed, it's been 100 years. This kid should break through. The system's voice transmitted into Little Dragon's ears. You bastard, you're not helping me. Do you know how hard I've worked for the past 100 years? I haven't rested for 100 years, and every day I have to use my cultivation to suppress Kong Shi. Do you know how sad it is? With the system's appearance, Little Dragon said unceremoniously, yes, indeed, you've worked hard, but the benefits you've gained from it are also proportional. Looking at Little Dragon, the system said, in 100 years, your aura didn't weaken, but became more solid. This means that your cultivation has recovered a lot. I'm right. With his words exposed by the system, Little Dragon suddenly panicked and stuttered, unable to speak. Looking at Little Dragon's current state, the system found it very funny. All right, you'd better keep an eye on Lin Ray. He's in a critical period now, and he's the focus of attention. You can't make any mistakes, you understand. At this moment, the system's words were very serious, and there was no joking at all. In this regard, Little Dragon also became serious. Boom! Suddenly, the Yalong starry sky in the outside world suddenly disappeared. It was replaced by dark clouds. It felt as if the world was about to collapse. About to break through? In the system, Little Dragon, who was talking to the system, felt the pressure from the outside world and moved to investigate. When he felt the changes in Lin Ray's body, he was stunned. He broke through. The system can feel it. At this moment, the system spoke. In the outside world, Lin Ray, whose eyes were originally closed, suddenly opened his eyes, and a pair of purple pupils appeared in front of everyone. Deep, mysterious, and attractive, the eyes that made one's soul tremble, as if they were not protected and recognized. The moment the purple pupils appeared, the dark clouds in the sky began to rumble. Break, rumble, a low roar like that of a beast came from Lin Ray's mouth. And along with the low roar, there was a muffled sound in Lin Ray's body. Although it was not very obvious, it was like a thunderbolt in everyone's ears, exploding in their ears. Boom, not good. Retreat quickly. In the distance, Dubby Rabbit and the others who were watching from the other side of the river felt a terrifying energy coming from afar, and their expressions changed. They reminded the people around them, and in the next moment, their figures disappeared from the spot. Dubby Rabbit's retreat, and Tianing and the others reacted by retreating as well. However, it was a pity that the speed of their retreat was not as fast as that terrifying and violent energy. Bam! 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 Sounds of collision rang out, and Dubby Rabbit and the others who were retreating lost control of themselves, and their bodies flew backward pathetically. Lin Ray did not know about this. At this moment, Lin Ray was immersed in the joy of breaking through. Ding! Congratulations to the host for breaking through to the Saint Realm in advance and becoming an early-stage Dao Fruit Sage. Ding! The host's information has changed. Name: Lin Ray. Age: 3, 793 system level. For cultivation base: Dao Fruit Sage, early stage. Experience: Shenglong 300100000 Shenglong. Spiritual roots: thunder, fire, wood, metal, chaos. Spiritual roots: innate talent. Dao Fruit Sage, Great Circle Cultivation Method. Primal Chaos. Scripture level 4, incomplete. Devouring Heavenly Technique, growable. Primordial Pill Refinement. Entry Cultivation Method. Cloud Formula. Emperor Level Cultivation Method. Same formation. Emperor Level Cultivation Method. Tyrant Body Technique. Emperor Level Cultivation Method. Thunder Tyrant Body. Emperor Level Cultivation Method. Lightning Scripture. Divine Level Cultivation Method. Martial Techniques. Butterfly Steps. Entry Level. Stellar Finger. Proficient. Silent Thunder Spear Art. High Profound Level Martial Technique. Now at entry level, can produce 3 lightning bolts. Myriad Sword Art. Heaven Level. Level 3 Incineration. Emperor Level. Dragon Subduing Step. Emperor Level. Shura Spear Art. King Level. Shura Sword Formation. King Level. Divine Transformation. Emperor level, colored glaze, lower saint level. Thousand illusions, lower saint level, spiritual treasures, chaos dragon spear, supreme grade divine artifact. Martial emperor divine spear, lower saint level divine artifact, growable, 10,000 magic sword, ungraded, 10,000 beast treasure furnace, heavenly temple. Upper grade immortal artifact. Universe Huayu, lower saint level. Demon subduing sword, lower saint level. Cauldron of heaven and earth, lower saint level. Equipment. Flowing light supreme grade divine artifact set mount. Midstage god lucky draw wheel. 0 character lottery system. 0 times reputation. 0 redemption points. 340, 000 spiritual stones. 0 lower saint level alchemist. 1824 Sheng Long, 10,000 Sheng Long, saint level array master. 134 Sheng Long, 10,000, saint level weapon forger. 1536 Sheng Long, 10,000, saint level talisman master. 186 Sheng Long, 10,000, top level spiritual herbs. None heaven and earth. Treasures. None mission. Main mission. Enter the holy world in 1,000 years. Side mission. Refine the Tong Tian Tower. Pills. 11 mind control pills. 5639 mind control pills. Chapter 986. Holy Dragon. What's that? Looking at his information, the original Torch Dragon and Mythical Dragon had become the current Holy Dragon. Linley didn't quite understand the division of experience. Besides, didn't the system say that there was a change in the information? Damn it, it was just a change in the experience. He rolled his eyes and did not wait for the opportunity to exit the system and return to his body. Ding! Congratulations to the host for breaking through to the Saint Realm. The reward is 50 million redemption points, 50 million reputation points, and a holy weapon, red armillary sash. Ding! As the host has completed the mission of breaking through to the Saint Realm in advance, the host is specially rewarded with a big gift package. Please accept it. Ding! The host has a big gift package. Do you want to accept it? A series of system prompts stunned Lin Ray, especially when he heard that there was a red armillary sash in the reward for breaking through to the Saint Realm. Lin Ray's first reaction was to recall the cartoon Neza that he had watched when he was young on planet Aqua Blue. Wasn't the Neza in his mind, the red armillary sash? Of course, Linley was just thinking about it. He didn't think that this was Neza's red armillary sash. After all, according to the realm, Neza's strength was at most at the level of a golden immortal. Ding! Do you want to accept the big gift package? The consideration time is 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, the big gift package will be automatically deleted. 29, 27, damn it. Hearing the system's words, Linley couldn't help but roll his eyes. He didn't expect the system to be so shameless. Didn't you say 30 seconds? If you didn't say 30 seconds, then that's fine. But can't you bring along 27 seconds? After all, time was of the essence and Lin Ray couldn't say anything. Accept, ding. Host has accepted. The big gift package has been placed in the storage. Please check it as soon as possible. Ding. Discovered a big gift package. Do you want to remove it? Damn it. What are you trying to do? Hearing the system's words, Linley was stunned. This was F*King forcing him to do something. Ding. Discovered a big gift package. Do you want to remove it? The consideration time is 30 seconds. 30, 18. Lin Ray didn't want to comment on the mathematics of the system anymore. Receive. Lin Ray didn't want to waste time talking nonsense. He just wanted to solve this quickly so that he wouldn't have to deal with the system's nagging. Ding! Opening the gift package. Please wait for a moment. The system fell silent, and Lin Ray heaved a sigh of relief because his ears were finally clear. Ding! The big gift package has been opened. Ding! Congratulations to host for obtaining a heaven-cleaving sword, a heaven-seeking fruit, and a special gift. Ding! Discovered a special gift. Would the host like to open it? He thought that he would be able to have some peace and quiet, but just as he thought about it, the system started. Dismantle. Ding. All right, please wait a moment, host. To be honest, Lin Ray was also quite curious about the special gifts. As for the sky-slicing sword and heaven-seeking fruit, Lin Ray was not interested in them at all. The sky-slicing sword? With his current strength, he could tear a hole in the sky with a raise of his hand. As for the heaven-seeking fruit, he was even less interested. The heaven-seeking fruit wasn't something that could allow one to ascend to the heavens just by eating it. Therefore, Lin Ray wasn't interested in these two items at all. On the contrary, he had opened the gift package before, but this kind of special gift had never appeared before. Time passed little by little, and this time, the dismantling of the special gift took almost 5 minutes. This made Lin Ray more and more curious. What exactly was it that made the system take so much effort to dismantle it? Then, the system's voice sounded. Ding! The special gift has been dismantled. Please check. Ding! Mission. Enter the holy world and rise quickly. Create your own sect in the flame domain. Time limit, 30,000 years. What? Create another force? Lin Ray was a little confused. Why did the system always give out such strange and meaningless missions? Oh, by the way, in 30,000 years, the force you create must become a disciple of the holy world and become a scene that thousands of sects worship. Otherwise, the host will have to bear the consequences. At this moment, Lin Ray didn't respond. He was completely helpless against the system giving out such a mission. Lin Ray was completely helpless, but even though he was helpless, he could not accept it. So this made Lin Ray a little difficult. Mao knew that it was difficult to create a sect, and it was even more difficult to create one in the holy world. Moreover, he had to create a scene of thousands of sects worshipping it within 30,000 years. This was beyond Lin Ray's ability. In Lin Ray's opinion, although one person couldn't compare to 10,000 people, he didn't know that these 10,000 people were a burden to Lin Ray. He had to find resources for the sect, impart skills, recruit talents, and manage the sect. Just thinking about it gave Lin Ray a headache, not to mention doing it. Ding! The name of the force is still the Nine Heavens Xuanzong Sect. The rule is that it must be in the flame domain. Otherwise, the host will have to bear the consequences. The system's voice sounded again. Lin Ray ignored it. In his heart, Lin Ray had already accepted this mission. Even if he didn't accept it, what could he do? Was he really going to be killed by the system? Impossible. It wasn't easy to get to where he was today. If he was killed because of such a small matter, how wronged would that be? Besides, Lin Ray couldn't let this happen. Wasn't it just creating a sect? Wasn't it just looking for resources? Wasn't it just being worshipped by thousands of sects? Okay, I'll do it for you. 30,000 years? I don't even need 30,000 years to do it for you. 20,000 years at most. His heart was filled with admiration. Ding! Because the host is so emotional, the system has temporarily changed the time from 30,000 years to 20,000 years. I hope the host will do as he says. You damn you! Lin Ray was dumbfounded. He didn't expect that he would be tricked by the system just by thinking about it. Ding warning. If the host insults the system again, the system will punish the host. Please take note. He didn't say anything. This time, Lin Ray really didn't want to say anything. He understood that the system's decisions couldn't be changed even if he was the host. The system had its own rules, and it couldn't change them just because of him. Exiting the conversation mode with the system, he looked up and saw the frozen space-time. However, at this moment, Kong Shi's eyes were filled with tears. His expression made Lin Ray stunned. Mother asterisk Kerr, what's going on? I haven't seen space-time for a while, and now it's like this? Lin Ray thought to himself as he looked at space-time. Mother asterisk Kerr, you finally woke up. A sudden, angry roar pulled Lin Ray back to reality. Oh, what's wrong? Unconsciously, Lin Ray blurted out. What should I do? Do you know that I've been trapped here ever since you started cultivating? Even if my cultivation is strong, I can't just stand here and do nothing for 100 years. You know as well, even cultivators will feel tired. Besides, this is nothing. The key is that I can't even cultivate. What's wrong with me? Hearing Kong Shi's complaints it made sense. Not being able to cultivate and just standing here for 100 years. No, 100 years? Have I been cultivating for 100 years? Nonsense. Kongsher was speechless at Lin Ray's silly question. Sure enough, time flies. Cultivation knows no time. I didn't expect to use 100 years to break through just one level. It seems like becoming the number one in the holy world within 20,000 years is a difficult task. Fortunately, Lin Ray didn't say this out loud. Otherwise, Kongsher would have sneered. One had to know that becoming the number one in the holy world wasn't just a matter of words. After all, there was still Hongjun. Although Hongjun had reached the Dao integration stage, he was still a member of the holy world and held the position of a guardian. To become the number one in the holy world, one had to defeat him first. Can you let me go now? Seeing that Lin Ray didn't say anything, Kongsher asked directly. Huh? Let you go. Raising his head, he looked at Kongsher with a puzzled gaze. Yes. What are you going to do to me if you don't let me go? Looking at Lin Ray, Kongsher said, besides, it's useless for you to keep me. With your current strength, even if you devour me, it won't be much of a problem. So let me go. Maybe we can even become friends. Hee, you're thinking too much. Lin Ray didn't argue with Kongsher. Just as Kongsher said, he was now a sage. Even if he devoured Kongsher, it wouldn't be of any use. However, Lin Ray didn't think so. Just a moment ago, a perfect idea appeared in Lin Ray's mind. A strange smile appeared on his face as he stared at Kongsher. It was obvious that he was up to no good. What are you trying to do? Nothing much. I just suddenly thought of bringing you to the holy world. Then, I can accompany the emperor to kill all the sections. How is it? This idea isn't bad, right? Kongsher didn't reply and didn't say anything. He turned his head away as if he didn't hear anything. What do you mean? Isn't it good to give you a chance to escape your current situation? Lin Ray asked. No, you can do whatever you want, but I'm not going to the holy world. Kongsher rejected without any hesitation. Isn't the holy world good? No, don't waste your breath. Don't even think about it if you want me to go to the holy world with you. Really? Nonsense. Do you think it's fake? Just as the two were talking, the heavenly pivot rabbit and the others arrived. Lin Ray and Kongsher's conversation entered everyone's ears without missing a word. Kongsher, I didn't expect you to be so timid after not seeing you for so long. This doesn't seem like it. Suddenly, the heavenly pivot rabbit broke Lin Ray's awkward situation. Hearing this, Kongsher turned his head to look at the heavenly pivot rabbit. Looking at the rabbit, Kongsher was stunned and asked doubtfully, Who are you? Do you know me? Black lines flashed across the heavenly pivot rabbit's forehead, and she said unhappily, Damn you. How long has it been, and you've already forgotten about me? Do you want to die? The heavenly pivot rabbit's sudden outburst stunned Lin Ray and the others. They didn't expect the heavenly pivot rabbit to be so fierce. Me, you are. Suddenly, Kongsher thought of something and stared at the heavenly pivot rabbit with wide eyes. His mouth was wide open as if he had seen something inconceivable. Seeing Kongsher's reaction, the heavenly pivot rabbit raised her head proudly and said, What? You recognize me now? Damn it. So your true form is a rabbit. I was wondering why you didn't show your true form in front of me in the past. Aren't you a little too small? What? Kongsher's laughter entered the heavenly pivot rabbit's ears. The heavenly pivot rabbit's smile suddenly turned gloomy. What's so funny? Isn't it just my appearance? You know that I'm not a skin bag. Even so, do you dare to touch me? Seeing the conversation between Kongsher and the heavenly pivot rabbit, Lin Ray laughed dryly and said, All right, now is not the time to talk about this. He interrupted their conversation and looked at Kongsher before continuing. Just like I said before, if I let you go, you have to come with me to the saint's world. I know you're being hunted down by Hongjun many times like the W rabbit. Don't worry. With me around, Hongjun can't touch you. I'm sure you can feel how strong the pressure on you is. Do you think Hongjun is stronger, or the person who released the pressure is stronger? Lin Ray also wanted to know the answer to this question. However, he didn't know Hongjuan's strength, but Kong sure did. By asking this question, he could know the strength of the system and also indirectly subdue Kong Sure. Why not kill two birds with one stone? What AF asterisk king thief? I didn't expect him to use my pressure to subdue Kong Sure. Really? In the system, hearing Lin Rei's words, the little dragon smiled bitterly. But why do I see your shadow in him? The system said. Bullsh asterisk T. Since when was I as shameless as him? At this point, the originally loud voice became slightly weaker when it heard the word shameless. TSK. Don't you know what kind of person you are? Just know in your heart. Why do you have to say it out loud? After saying that, the system shut up and didn't say anything. The little dragon's face turned green and red. In the outside world, hearing Lin Rei's words, Kong Sure fell into deep thought. He was thinking about what Lin Rei said just now and thinking about the direction of the future. How about it? I can tell you that as long as you go to the holy world with me, I can guarantee that you will regain your freedom and not be hunted down by Hongjun, just like Dubby Rabbit. Go to the holy world with me, and I can guarantee your safety for the rest of your life. How about it? Lin Rei asked again. This time, he even brought up Dubby Rabbit because in his opinion, Dubby Rabbit was almost guaranteed to go to the holy world. After all, with the efforts of Sakura and Tian Ning, he believed that he could make Dubby Rabbit join them. To be honest, Kong Sure was tempted. Between the holy world and the holy world, Kong Sure's first choice was the holy world. However, he came to the holy world because he needed Hongjun. But now, an opportunity to enter the holy world without worrying about Hongjun was in front of him. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't tempted. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.